Dream big. Save 50% on iPhone 16 Pro at Cox Mobile.
With interest-free financing up to $25,000 for energy-efficient home improvements. Apply today at clintonsavings.com.
Member FDIC, member DIF. Call 888-744-4272 for details about credit costs and terms. All loans subject to credit approval.
For all your heating and cooling needs, you need Endless Energy.
The best defense is a good offense. Take your heating system into the end zone this fall with a boiler replacement by Endless Energy. Aging HVAC systems are inefficient and create costly repairs. Make a smart play this fall and book a no-cost replacement consult with Endless Energy. Learn from the pros on all rebates, tax incentives, and 0% financing options available. Call 775-ENDLESS or go to goendlessenergy.com.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
At Navigant Credit Union, our customers are our owners, which means when the community thrives, we thrive. Let's make your goals a reality. Own your mission. Own your credit union. Navigant Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Are you feeling overwhelmed by home improvement projects? At Marshall Building and Remodeling, we want to get you the information you need without feeling pressured. We have a complete customer care team and thousands of reviews so you know you're in good hands. Choose Marshall. We protect what's inside by caring for what's outside.
Moments like my daughter telling me a new joke mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative NBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Connect with Boston's home for sports online. 98.5 thesportshub.com.
All right, welcome back to Patriots Preview, driven by the all-electric Honda Prologue. It is Jim Murray and Chris Gasper. We are down on the field inside Gillette Stadium as we get closer to kickoff between the Patriots and New York Jets, their Week 8 matchup. Again, a beautiful picture-perfect day. And that's about the only good thing I have to say right now, because, again, we just did the scene-setting hit with Zoe. And the Jets were in front of us on this side of the field. The disparity between their attitude and body language between what we saw with the Patriots, who look like they're showing up to a dentist appointment, is frankly jarring, Chris. Like we know they're not a great team and they don't have a lot of talent, but maybe it'd be juiced up after your coach basically called you soft after the loss in London. Again, they look like they're trudging to work today, where the Jets and Sauce Gardner loose, dancing, having a time, and that team stinks.
Well, I think, again, teams are starting to smell blood on the Patriots. I thought you saw it last week with Jacksonville. The Patriots have become the get-right game. Jacksonville, they got down 10-0, but I thought their energy and even their attention to detail and focus was greater than what you've seen in other games. And you're seeing with the Jets, the energy is greater. Teams smell like, oh, this should be a dub.
Yeah, and also, in the interest of full disclosure, it is not full here.
It's a little sparse.
Yeah. So if there was going to be any kind of home field advantage, which there certainly hasn't felt like much of that in the last year or so. Again, the last win in this stadium came about a week ago against the Buffalo Bills. You get the crowd behind you, but there's not much of a crowd, Chris.
It is a beautiful day. People could still be in the parking lot just getting that last taste of tailgating.
Yes.
But, yeah, this is not the crowds we're accustomed to, at least right now at this point before kickoff.
Yeah, I don't feel great about that whole, like when we were doing the game picks, hey, well, the Patriots can at least cover that spread. Not since we've walked in the stadium. I don't feel great about that prediction now.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, on the pure football side of it, I'm intrigued to see Drake May against this Jets secondary, because the corners are good, but they're so banged up at safety. Old friend Jalen Mills is going to get some run for the Jets at safety. They're really banged up there, and can the Patriots take advantage of that? Drake May is the best thing they have going for them right now.
The human vessel of hope, as he is called. And, so if at least let's see more progress with the young quarterback today. That's all we can hope for. All right, well, listen, stay tuned. Bob Socci, Scott Zolak, they are going to have the call of the game from the DraftKings broadcast booth. DraftKings Sportsbook, they are the official sports betting partner of your New England Patriots. Some thanks to Send Out, executive producer Jeremy Conley, and technical producer Kevin Majori. Back in Waltham, keeping us on the air, assistant program director Jim Louth setting us up here and giving you the headlines as well. The New England Patriots pregame show has been driven by the all-electric Honda Prologue. Contact your local New England Honda dealers. You can learn more or shop online at newengland.hondadealers.com. Coming up, it is kickoff between your New England Patriots, who desperately need a win. Oh, please let them win today against the New York Jets. Big division rival game. Kickoff coming up here for Chris Gasper. This is Jim Murray. We are signing off from Gillette Stadium here in Foxborough.
This has been Patriots Preview, driven by the all-electric Honda Prologue.
Hey, let's make a play. Let's make a play.
Also brought to you by Safety Insurance, Mass General Cancer Center, your local New England Honda dealers, Duncan, America runs on Duncan, Hub International New England, Catches Law, Credit Union's Kids at Heart, Apex Entertainment Center, Dig Safe, Wendy's, 128 Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric, and Drains, Delta Airlines, and by Bud Light.
Hey, set the tone. Set the tone.
By Valvoline Instant Oil Change, Clinton Savings Bank, VA New England, United Ag and Turf, Peerless Spoilers, your New England Ford dealers, Eastern Propane and Oil, Town Fair Tire, Northern Bank in partnership with Heading Home, FindMassMoney.gov, Comcast Business, and by Payblocks.
Finish! Finish! Run!
By Bigelow Tea, United Construction and Forestry, Drains by James, Live Nation, UMass Lowell, your New England Chevy dealers, Reed's Ferry Storage Sheds, Roach Brothers, Dairy Queen, the Peterson School, Miller Lite, your Boston area Nissan dealers, and by Oakers Technologies.
There we go! There we go, fellas!
The kickoff is next on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Coming up short? We've got you covered. With Navigant Credit Union's Overdraft Privilege program, you can take charge of your finances with reduced fees. Just another perk of being an owner. Join Navigant Credit Union today. Federally insured by NCUA.
Jason Tatum plays here.
Tip the entry to Smart. No-look bounce pass to the cutter. Jason Tatum, who lays it up and in with the right hand. And the Celtics are dancing right now. They are Brogdon across half court. Nets fans headed for the exit. Tatum, pull-up three. Good night. You know what MVPs do? They still got 29 in a row. Tatum to the right. Pulls up on LeBron. They're isolated. Right side of the floor. Tatum spins on the baseline. Turns. Fade. Got it!
This is the home of the Celtics. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
What's up, y'all? It's Drewski, here to talk about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money while watching football. The app is real simple to use. Pick 2 or more players and pick more or less on their projection. Prize Picks puts their members first. All withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my lineup hits, I can get my money in less than 15 minutes. Prize Picks invented the flex play. On Prize Picks, you can mix and match players on different sports, which means you can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy app with injury insurance. If one of your players go down in the first half, Prize Pick does not count as a loss.
Right now, Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Just download the Prize Picks app and use code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Oh, Downy the rinse change. Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and wash and smell so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Celtics play here at the Sports Hub.
May to work from the gun. He takes the snap. He's under a rush. He runs it to the left. He's hit by Sherwood. Decked at the 50-yard line. A welcome to the NFL hit right there for the rookie quarterback trying to escape. Since that first hit in his NFL debut against the Jets, no one's questioned the toughness of quarterback Drake May, who showed a soft touch before showing off his strong right arm last Sunday in London. Shotgun snap to May, looking right. He tosses it to a wide-open Hasty. Right sideline dead. A cut left at the 5. Jermichael, the former Jaguar, dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots! May drops back. He steps in. He fires down the middle. The pass is going to be caught. Touchdown, Patriots! Coming off his 5th touchdown pass in 2 starts, today May looks to lift the Patriots out of hard times with both his ability and attitude.
I think as a quarterback, I need to bring it every day. Every day, that's my responsibility that comes with playing position is bringing juice and being the guy that somebody look to. Hey, if Drake's down, then just the quarterback of the football team. I think it's every day I need to bring juice, and that's kind of my personality anyway.
Back at home in Foxborough, the rookie needs that enthusiasm to become infectious for he and his teammates to get even with their division rival from New York in the season's 2nd meeting of the Patriots and Jets coming up from Gillette.
This is Patriots football.
Set to go. Snap, ball down. Kick up. Kick is on the way, and it is good. It's good. It's good. And the Patriots are Super Bowl champions.
The Patriots are brought to you by Safety Insurance, Mass General Cancer Center, your local New England Honda dealers, Duncan, America runs on Duncan, Hub International New England, Catches Law, Credit Union's Kids at Heart, Apex Entertainment Center, DigSafe, Wendy's, 128 Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric, and Drains, Delta Airlines, and by Bud Light.
Wilson, quick throw. Intercepted by Malcolm Butler with 20 seconds to go in Super Bowl 49.
By Valvoline Instant Oil Change, Clinton Savings Bank, VA New England, United Ag and Turf, Peerless Boilers, your New England Ford dealers, Hay Blocks, Eastern Propane and Oil, Town Fair Tire, Endless Energy, Northern Bank in partnership with Heading Home, FindMassMoney.gov, Comcast Business, and by D'Angelo Grilled Sandwiches.
Driving forward. Diving to the goal line. It's done it.
A touchdown and a title for the Patriots.
I can't believe it.
They have completed the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history.
By Bigelow Tea, your Boston area Nissan dealers, Miller Lite, Oakers Technologies, United Construction and Forestry, Drains by James, Live Nation, UMass Lowell, your New England Chevy dealers, Reed's Ferry Storage Sheds, Roach Brothers, Dairy Queen, and by the Peterson School.
And the Patriots are world champions again. Back-to-back world championships. 3 out of 4. Yes, it's a dynasty.
And the Patriots have won their 6th Super Bowl title. Yes, it's still a dynasty.
Now, here's Bob Sosi and Scott Solak.
And hello again, everyone. A very pleasant good afternoon, and welcome to Foxborough's Gillette Stadium for this matchup of the New England Patriots at 1-6 and the New York Jets at 2-5. Bob Sosi along with Scott Zolak, and as always, it is great to have you with us. And so the Patriots right now in a 6-game losing streak, and meanwhile the Jets come in having committed, of course, to Aaron Rodgers and really thrown all their chips to the middle of the table with the recent acquisition of Devontae Adams, trying to turn things around, having lost 4 in a row. But one of their 2 wins in lopsided fashion, 24-3, was over the Patriots in Week 3 this year. The Pats are going to try to get even. How do they do that, shorthanded as they are today?
It's a great question. That's a question of the day. And also that moving forward. I mean, we've got double digits games left.
Yeah.
This is not like you have something at the end of, you see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. Your bye doesn't come until week 1 of December, so there's a long way to go to that. You got to right the ship somewhat. You right the ship in a loss. Can that even potentially be factored in? I think it can. It's how you play. It's how you respond to the comments that were made this week about the team being soft. Shut down a run. Make it look like it bugs you that teams run the ball down your throat. That's where I expect a response today. I really do. I don't feel good about them winning the game today, but I do feel good about you have pride. You're an NFL player. You get paid to play the game. This is your job. It's job security. So you're going to sit there and just be a punching bag for team after team after team. When they get you on film, or are you going to respond and do things like teams have done to you? So I'm going to go with the latter there. I think they're going to respond today. And I think you're going to get back to running the ball in offense, too. Ramondre, I expect him to be better today. I know he's banged up in London. The London trip was a weird trip. It really was. Team came out of the gates early. 10-zip lead. I'm talking to you about playing with the lead, how odd this feels, and then boom, what was it, 25 unanswered?
Well, I think when you look at the defense, let's start there because you mentioned the 17 consecutive running attempts by Jacksonville, the soft comments after the game by head coach Gerard Mayo. They're going into this game against the Jets with two good backs, and of course Rodgers, who tore them up with a passing game, and now he has Adams at his disposal today. He wasn't around in week 3. At the same time, the Patriots go in without Kyle Duggar, without Daniel Akwale. Maybe they play tougher, they play more competitively, but can they slow down and stop the Jets?
Well, that's the thing. Someone's got to make a play. I mean, you got to benefit from turnovers today, which makes Drake May play a much cleaner game. He's got to be really on his stuff today. You can't afford a fumble. You can't afford an interception. The Jets are in turmoil right now. You fired your head coach. Aaron Rodgers does not look like the same Aaron Rodgers to me. You know, we've called games against him, and he comes out very early, goes through an hour-and-a-half long warm-up when he's on his money. He came out late today, and I guess he's been knocked around, banged up a little bit, got some injuries. And I don't know how many guys on that team really believe that they're headed in the right direction. This is more of a desperate game. We're desperate, obviously. The Patriots are. But for the Jets and how they have it all stacked, we're in a rebuild. They are not in a rebuild.
Well, big picture, you want to talk about the Patriots and that rebuild. You want to be headed in the right direction. They haven't been heading that way. Even while they've lost 6 straight, you might be looking for positive signs. We've seen them in Drake May, given the understanding that this was going to be a rebuilding year and a struggle for them. But we've also seen along the way all these detours into distractions, whether on social media or with players' absences. Javon Baker, the rookie, of course, the wide receiver.
He's active today.
Active today, but really didn't participate very much in warm-ups. Josh Uche reportedly on the trade block. He had comments today to Mike Reese on ESPN.com. He's inactive today, seemingly a healthy scratch for this team. And you've got guys like Tyquan Thornton now up. KJ Osborne tried to build on that touchdown catch late last week. But he's certainly expressed his frustration in various means this past week. There's a lot going on right now. Try to focus on this game.
1-6 gets you very frustrated. But the problem is, when you're 1-6, all those other little things get magnified even more. Because when you get to the bottom line, does the word soft really bug you as a person? Really going to affect your day? No, you're going to go out there and do your thing, do your job. Receivers need to do something. I'm really upset with the receiver room right now. You know my thoughts on Kendrick Bourne. Talked to Gerard Mayo. He brought up KJ Osborne also as a leader. Leaders don't post things from their agent after they found out the night before that 11 p.m. I found out I was going to be active in this game. That bugged me, or that he was going to start, because if you're a leader, you're not doing that stuff. Your approach every day should be, I'm going to do everything I can to be ready to play.
And offensively, the approach today for the Patriots, one would think after week 3, would be more running with Ramondre Stevenson against that Jets defense. The rushing defense has been the vulnerability for the Jets on that side of the ball. We'll find out, of course, with the opening kickoff being brought to you by the United Ag and Turf starting lineups as well, with the opening kickoff coming up next on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
At Navigant Credit Union, our customers are our owners, which means your business success is our business success. Own your skill, own your goals, own your credit union. Navigant Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Squadron commander.
Outbound for check.
Plus soccer coach.
Bring it in, team.
Submarine hunter.
Contact acquired.
And big sky hunter.
See the Big Dipper?
Navy health benefits.
Open wide for me.
Plus some everyday perks.
Hey, buddy. I'm home early.
Never missing out. Never missing out.
Happy birthday to
America's Navy Reserve. It's everything you love about the Navy, plus everything else you just love. Learn more at NavyReserve.com.
There's high school, and then there's St. Raphael Academy, where students thrive in small classes, a college-style learning experience, and a supportive community. At St. Raphael Academy, every student is inspired and challenged to excel academically, athletically, and spiritually. Is your child ready to achieve their fullest potential? Become a saint. Attend St. Raphael Academy's final open house on Sunday, November 3rd at noon. Register online at strays.org/open house.
David Pasternak plays here.
High slot now, McAvoy, far side, Pasternak shoots, looking for the tip. It comes back to him, fires, he scores! He's got another! Marchand, high slot, looks back door, swings it across, popping out Pasternak, shoots, he scores! Marchand's got it, right circle, Bergeron to Pasternak, shoots, he scores!
This is the home of the Bees, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll put a sheet on it every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Put a sheet on it. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Put a sheet on it. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry, put a sheet on it with Bounce.
Clogged pipes? Slow drain? Call Drains by James, Eastern Massachusetts leader in drain cleaning and pipelining. You may not need them today, but when you do, think of Drains by James. They've unclogged and pipelined thousands of jobs, and they want to be there for you. Drains by James is clean, efficient, and you'll never know they're in your space. Drains by James, Eastern Massachusetts leader in drain cleaning and pipelining. Save money, save time, save the headache, and call Drains by James.
Drains by James. They give a poop about your pipes.
Hey, it's Joe Murray here with Mike from Prestige Security Solutions. If you're a home or business owner looking for top-notch protection, Prestige is your go-to company.
Absolutely, Joe. With Prestige, you can monitor live camera feeds, manage your alarm system, control smart locks, and even smart thermostats, all from one easy-to-use app. We make high-tech security both convenient and affordable.
Check out all their 5-star reviews.
This has been
my man Drake May once again at Clicking, and your starting lineups are brought to you by United AG and Turf. United Ag and Turf, the largest John Deere dealership in New England with 42 locations. Get any job done with United Ag and Turf because together we are unstoppable. Together we're united. Visit a location.
will. The question is, as you look ahead, which teams are going to have that reversal of fortune in the second half of the season?
Yeah, it's going to be one of those situations where I think a lot of offenses got a slow start because they're breaking in new quarterbacks, and I mean both veteran quarterbacks who are new or newer to their system, or due to injury they had to make a quick change, or because they drafted a player, or young guys getting a start for the first time, or a new quarterback in a new system type of thing. We were seeing offenses lurch out of the gates, and so records reflected. I think it is highly likely, if not very likely, for us to see a couple of teams kind of come out of nowhere here and make a midseason run.
Here's a team and an example are the Cincinnati Bengals. So they opened the year 0-3. They lost at home to the Patriots, who haven't won since. But remember, they had a 1-point loss on the road against the Chiefs, and they had a 3-point loss at home against the Ravens, who right now in the moment look like the best team in the NFL. They haven't been overwhelming even in their wins. In fact, they haven't even won a home game yet, and they are 0-3 at home, now home today against the Eagles. This is a really interesting matchup to start off our day here. Bengals at home against an Eagles team that still doesn't look right, but they're sitting at 4-2 right now, just a half game behind the Commanders in the NFC East.
Yeah, the Eagles, it's been years now where we've been saying this about the Philadelphia Eagles. They just don't look quite right, but they've been doing some good thing in spite of all that. They still have a talented quarterback. They still have talent all over the offense. That defense is one of the fiercest units when they play up to their potential.
Saquon Barkley obviously has had a big boost for their offense this year.
Yeah, one of the best free agent signings this offseason. He's had a real great start to his season. So you look at a lot of things the Eagles are doing and you say, well, they're dangerous, and also they're playing in an NFC East that's winnable. Look, as good as Washington has been to start the season with Jaden Daniels, he's a rookie. There's going to be plenty of growing pains. The New York Giants, we know the story with them. The Dallas Cowboys, they have a coach and an owner who seem to be at odds with each other. That's never a good thing, especially when they've underperformed at times to start their season. So the NFC East is wide open, in my opinion. And I think the Eagles could make a surge here mid-season.
2-5 versus 1-6. That's what's happening in this Jets-Patriots matchup. Again, Patriots on a 6-game losing streak. The Jets, every week, everyone keeps saying, this will be the week, this will be the week. Last week, Devontae Adams was in the lineup, and they had one of their worst losses of the year. I know everyone has been holding out hope on this one. If you're a Jets fan, Rich, you've been one of those that's still a believer in the Jets. I talked to Adam Kaplan yesterday. He was a big believer in the Jets, I guess, until last week. It's rare that you would fire an interim coach, so they're going to ride the wave the rest of the way. I'll put it this way. If they lose on the road to the Patriots today, I think you could officially put the final nail in the coffin for their 2024 season.
If they lose to the Patriots today, yeah, I think that's the death knell. That's the death rattle. That's the final breath, because how do you really come back from that? Look, crazy things have happened. Maybe even crazier things have happened in the NFL, maybe even in this division, but that would be an incalculably hard loss to swallow for a group that's already fired their head coach, that's getting less than they thought they would get out of the quarterback position. And that's true. Now, you can say, well, it's just around the corner when Aaron Rodgers puts it all together. Well, we're already 7 games under the belt here. So how many more games are we going to be waiting? I mean, he's got 10 left and they only have 2 wins. So if you start doing the math, they're going to have to be a really good team the rest of the way if they lose to the Patriots. I mean, maybe the best team in the NFL, which they look nothing like right now.
We have a Tyreek Hill sighting. He hasn't gotten in the end zone yet, but it's amazing with Tua Tagovailoa back at quarterback for the Dolphins today. One of the big stories in the NFL, and on their opening drive, Tua is 4 of 5 for 43 yards. They're already at the 8-yard line of the Cardinals. And they just got they fumbled at the goal line. Did you see it? It looked like he was going in the end zone, and he fumbled at the goal line, and it was recovered by the Dolphins. So they got a break right there. Just as who is that? Is that It was sort of like a shuttle pass over the middle, and just as he was to go into the end zone, he got stripped of the ball right at the goal line. And fortunately for the Dolphins, they recover.
Yeah,
it was knocked out.
Short pass to.
Well, wait a second. It looked like the Cardinals recovered.
Yeah.
The guy dived right on it. How did he not? He got away from him.
No.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
he got away from him.
Wow,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Jeez.
We have our first touchdown, Rich. That would be courtesy of Shocker, the Detroit Lions at home against the hapless Titans.
Well, hold on.
And Shocker, David Montgomery.
Yeah, and David Montgomery.
First touchdown of the day actually goes to Kyle Pitts.
Oh!
You know, the guy that always scores touchdowns.
Yes, wow, you're right. The Falcons get on the board first on the road against the Buccaneers. Big battle in that NFC South. Both teams coming in with a 4-3 record. So we'll keep our eye on that game. And then right now, the Dolphins now have a 3rd and goal on the Arizona 1-yard line after recovering that fumble. Bengals on their opening drive are down to the 16-yard line, 1st and 10 against the Eagles. Joe Burrow, perfect 8 for 8, 45 yards. His stats this year are off the charts. Joe Burrow has had a great season. The problem for the Bengals, well, their defense is not good. That's going to be the big question today. We talked about this Eagles team. Based on some of the rushing numbers of that Bengals defense, Barkley should have a big day.
Yeah, you would expect so. The Bengals, they're a middling team at best in a lot of defensive categories. They're bottom of the league in scoring, obviously. It's really been a struggle all season long, but Joe Burrow has played sensational football. He has been the only bright spot in I shouldn't say the only bright spot because he has help around that offense, but he's been one of the major reasons why the Bengals have been able to keep this season afloat after getting off to an 0-3 start. They lost 4 of their first 5 games with their only win coming against the Carolina Panthers, but then they rattled off 2 straight heading into this matchup against the Eagles.
All right, Mostert gets into the end zone, so the Dolphins do score, and they get the extra point, 7-0 Dolphins on their opening drive. Tua Tagovailoa, 5 of 6, 47 yards. This team has had 0 offense with his absence. And what's interesting is, talking to Adam Kaplan, our Fox Sports Radio NFL insider yesterday, he said Tua actually was ready the last couple weeks. It's been a mystery to where is Tua, but at least on that opening drive, he looks good. Meanwhile, how about this? The Cleveland Browns have stoned the Ravens on their opening drive. So, Lamar Jackson, 6 of 6, 65 yards, but the Browns stop him on 4th down and take over.
The Browns kind of remind me of a broken clock a little bit. It's going to be right like twice a month. They do look good at times. Now, almost never offensively with Deshaun Watson as their starter. And after the Achilles tear, we'll see how they look today without him. But you look at the Browns defense and you say, well, they've got bodies. They've got real players over there.
This was a playoff team last year.
And by the way, a playoff team in spite of starting 6 different quarterbacks. That's the reason why Stefanski was named Coach of the Year. So
let me ask you this. Addition by subtraction with Deshaun Watson out for the year?
100%. And I've been saying it for weeks now. It was very clear almost from the jump at the start of the season that whatever they're trying to do and get to him or get to with him is not working offensively. And so either Stefanski had to change his scheme to suit Deshaun better or Deshaun had to buy in, one or the other. It felt like neither side would bow. And as a result, we were just seeing poor football. And look, you never cheerlead for injuries. You never want to see a player get hurt and lose an opportunity at competing during a season or even potentially having an effect on his career. But Deshaun Watson not being able to play may be the best thing for the Browns from the standpoint of, look, I think anybody, just about anybody walking through the door in Cleveland could have done as good or a better job than Deshaun. And it felt like they were chained to him because of that contract he signed.
All right, watching the Bengals right now, 2nd and goal at the Eagles' 2-yard line. Burrow is going to roll out, throw, touchdown. Bengals as they get the Jamar Chase 2-yard touchdown reception. So the Bengals score on their opening drive against the Eagles. We are off and running already. Touchdowns across the board around the National Football League for all the scores, all the stats, everything you need on your NFL Sunday. Keep it here. This is Red Zone Radio.
Here we go. When it goes down in the NFL, it goes down here. Follow us on social media for all of it at Fox Sports Radio. Reactions.
The Bears are afraid.
Breakdowns.
The system will be very similar to what he's running in Minnesota.
Videos and more.
That's big, bro. Yeah.
At Fox Sports Radio.
The NBA is finally back. Here's a way to get even more into the action following your favorite players. Playing Pick 6 from DraftKings, an official partner of the NBA. It's super simple to get started. First, download the DraftKings Pick 6 app. Then select 2 or more players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. New customers play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code UPONGAME. That's code UPONGAME for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text PREP to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text PREP to 42424. That's PREP to 42424.
With all the uncertainty in the economy, the pre-election wobbles, is my money really safe? That's when I discovered the power of a gold IRA from Noble Gold Investments. It's a tangible asset that can help protect your wealth when times get tough. And with Noble Gold Investments, it was so easy to roll over my existing IRA into a self-directed gold IRA. Their experts guided me through every step. I diversified my retirement portfolio with something real. Don't wait for the election uncertainty to threaten your financial security. Vote for the timeless safety of gold and silver in 2024. Oh, and hear this. They're giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account. Just visit noblegoldinvestments.com now and use the promo code TRUMP. That's noblegoldinvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
I like the morning show.
They're really funny in the morning.
This is the show that has 2 pros and a cup of Joe.
Who is Joe?
LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox.
Tua should be back here for the Miami Dolphins this weekend. So congratulations. Tua will be back. Now, I did see that he's got on what is being referred to as the safest helmet option among quarterbacks that he will be wearing. It's no Guardian cap, but he does have a safe helmet, or at least a safer helmet, that he will be wearing on Sunday.
I don't think a Guardian hat or any other helmet or anything will alleviate what people are thinking and feeling about Tua going out there. So it just is what it is, right?
You know what's hard for me to understand, LeVar, is like the technology with the helmets has supposedly gotten better, and players supposedly, it's the safest they've ever been. And I feel like, we're still dealing with more concussions. We're like the same.
There's been a lot of them.
Well, I'd love to see the reduction of the numbers. whenever they started tabulating all our keeping track. I'd love to see what those numbers look like. Now, again, many people would say 20 years ago, even when they did diagnose a concussion, there was probably a bunch that were going undiagnosed. So
it is interesting, though, because if you look at least two of Tua's concussions are back of his head hitting the turf. Like, it wasn't a direct shot. It was the back of his head.
And that's why I just don't think there's any way out of it. You know what I mean? Like, the concussions I sustained were like, they just, you can't, it just is what it is. Like, I caught a knee to the head. Like, doesn't matter. Neck, helmet, doesn't matter. If you get hit the right way, and it can happen.
To get the rest of LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox, podcast by searching Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. Listen to Two Pros and a Cup of Joe weekdays from 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Ben Maller.
The General of Degenerates has arrived.
Heard of him?
I've worked with Ben for a long time, and he has all these wild takes and flies off the handle, and, I got to kind of bring him back down. It doesn't work, but I try.
The man is a living monument to ineptitude.
He's Ben Maller, and he's talking all night long.
So I've got Vin Diesel, Kangaroo Court, and Tommy Lasorda.
It's the Ben Maller Show. Weeknights at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
3, 2, 1.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
I think when you're looking at legacy now, which is what this is,
Who wants a piece of me?
It's sports.
we'll see if we can upset a fan base today.
Yeah. It's life.
My wife goes, what are you going to do, watch football? Mm-hmm.
It's the Dan Patrick Show.
Yeah. In the right offense, he can be that player.
Bringing sports and life together.
Man, I love doing this job.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
It's amazing.
Fox Sports Radio.
Here we go.
So how do you like it?
The question is this.
You like it like this?
Wait a minute. This is the NBA.
Or like this?
Baseball tends to be, of all our sports, very much steeped in tradition.
And what about this?
Basically, the NFL has found ways to make money off of everything.
Like you're alive.
Whatever it is that you like, we've got it covered. It's sports the way you like it on Fox Sports Radio.
Let's finish. Oh!
You're listening to Red Zone Radio.
Back to the end zone.
We're taking you across the NFL.
To the end zone. Touchdown.
And into the red zone. Once again, here's Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger.
Burrow catches, drops back to throw, begins rolling to the right. He's at the 12-yard line, throws into the end zone, a leaping catch, and a touchdown by Jamar Chase. And the Bengals take more than 9 minutes off the clock and score a touchdown to begin the game.
At 700 WLW Bengals Radio Network, Bengals early 7-0 lead against the Eagles. Eagles are on the move. They're in the red zone of the Bengals. Again, minute 41 to go in the first quarter. Very busy start to our NFL Sunday. This is Red Zone Radio. Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger with you. We're live from the TireRack.com studios. By the way, our thanks to Rapid Radios, the official communication device of Fox Sports Radio. Rapid Radios, instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies, offering national LTE coverage and no subscription or monthly fee. Business owners can keep in touch with up to 200 staff at one time. And it's a great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free shipping. Add the code RADIO and get an extra 5% off. Also right now, Rich, the Patriots are on the move after stopping the Jets. And so they're moving right now. The Patriots, of course, Drake May taking over as the quarterback a couple of weeks ago. And so far, the reports on this rookie quarterback class, we look back, the disaster that was the 2021 class. This class is looking pretty good so far. Look what Bo Nix is doing in Denver. Obviously, we got the showdown today between Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. And Drake May, with very limited resources, is looking pretty decent himself so far.
For sure, from where the Patriots were with Jacoby Brissett, who at the start of the season, at first blush, I was saying, I like Jacoby Brissett. I think that he's done a couple of times when given opportunities, some nice things to fill in as a starter or also be the named starter as a bridge quarterback. This year really did not go well for him under center, and the change needed to be made. And Drake May, since stepping in, it feels like he's breathed new life into an otherwise pretty desperate situation already. Gerard Mayo, I think, feeling the pressure early on in his tenure as a rookie head coach.
All right, Drake May just ran it in for a touchdown. 17-yard run for Drake May. He looks a little bit like Josh Allen, doesn't he? Big guy.
A little bit, yeah. He's a
big guy.
Big guy.
He can roam. By the way, he's 3 for 4 for 23 yards passing. Aaron Rodgers is 1 for 2 for -1 yards.
Wow.
So that's the start of the game. We said before the game, if the Jets lose to the Patriots,
it's bad.
Call it a day. I mean, I don't know what else you can call it. Meanwhile, the Browns right now have a 4th down on the Ravens' 9-yard line. By the way, again, I reference Adam Kaplan, but he said, look out for the Browns today. You know, they'll make it a game. And again, Rich, we were just talking about it. You sort of rid yourself of, you know, just that dark cloud hanging over this team with the whole Deshaun Watson contract and everything else. And now he's out of the building. And their defense, at least early on, showing up. So the Browns, 4th and 6 at the Baltimore 9-yard line, obviously will be looking for a field goal attempt to at least take a temporary lead.
Yeah, the Browns, I agree with what Kaplan said about the Browns today. I think when you have, again, we were just talking about Jacoby Brissett being replaced by Drake May, and even though, you know, you may think to yourself, well, Jacoby's been playing for a while, it's not a very good team, not very good players around him, what is Drake May going to do? Sometimes changes are the biggest change. Just the change itself, having a new face, a new voice in the huddle, it reinvigorates people. Or it forces guys to lock in a little bit more and rally around the next guy in. So, yeah, maybe Jacoby Brissett was the voice that the Patriots heard all summer long and all offseason long in the huddle. Well, guess what? Same thing for the Browns. It might have been Deshaun Watson the whole way this offseason, but you get an opportunity to see a fresh face, new blood in the huddle. Well, everybody rallies around and tries to help that guy have success.
Another team, next guy in, Tampa Bay. I mean, your receivers are gone, right? And yet Kate Otten just caught a touchdown pass for Baker Mayfield. So the Buccaneers banged up right now. Huge showdown in this NFC South, 7-7 Atlanta and Tampa Bay. And, you know, some of the questions about Baker Mayfield after he had this tremendous season a year ago, many could have made he really should have been comeback player of the year because he had gone down to, what was it, third-string quarterback on the Rams, and it was over, and he had a huge comeback year last year. But then it's usually that whole story of Baker Mayfield. Yeah, he has that big year. Oh, he's back. And then all of a sudden he falls back. This year he's holding it together. Baker Mayfield right now is in that upper echelon of quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been playing incredible football since he's basically been signed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's been paid for it now, and he's continued. Baker Mayfield, without him, it definitely feels what happened to the Patriots after Tom Brady would have happened to the Buccaneers after Tom Brady. But Baker Mayfield kind of came in there, swooped in, and saved the day. And you've said it before, and I think there's an awareness about Baker Mayfield's moxie. When the chips are stacked against him, it sort of feels that's when it all kicks together for him. And it did feel like heading into Tampa Bay, as you mentioned, kind of getting scooped off of the depth of the Rams' depth chart. He was just given this opportunity, and he went out there and played like he had a chip on his shoulder since the first time since college, and it's really worked for him.
Mason Rudolph, quarterback for the Titans today. He threw an interception early in the game. Now he has just run the ball into the end zone. Chris, give us an update. How did the Lions allow Mason Rudolph to run it into the end zone, extra point away from tying this game?
Very carefully. Basically, no, they just whiffed on a tackle there about like 6 yards out. That's
he went untouched. When I see Mason Rudolph juking,
he juked Trevor Nowaski, who had the interception earlier on Mason Rudolph. So a little bit of revenge there.
All right. Mason. So the Titans now attempting the extra point to tie up this game. Titans a huge dog. 7-7 right now. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Lions and the Titans. Meanwhile, the Dolphins, Rich, up already 7-0. Tua Tagovailoa is 10 for 11, 72 yards.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, this is a Dolphins offense that had completely evaporated in his absence. Now he's back, and this is again one of those teams. Dolphins come in at 2-4. Can they keep Tua healthy? And if he is healthy, can they make a run to the postseason?
Well, critical game for the Dolphins today, no question about it. They need to get a win. They need to start stacking wins if they're going to get into the wild card conversation or back into the playoff conversation at all. Start of the season, especially looking at how this offense played when Tua was healthy, it felt like, well, things are going to go off gangbusters just like they've had before. But just like they've had before, an injury at quarterback, Tua on the field, suffering with a concussion, his career once again taken into consideration, and there was a lot of bantying about, talking about whether or not it's the best thing for him to continue his career. Well, the truth is about all of this, when it comes to somebody else's career, is the best decision is Tua's decision. So he decides to play, and he comes back, and by the way, I said it 2 weeks ago, and I stand by it. They should just give Tua the MVP, based on how bad the Dolphins look without him.
Yeah, I mean, again, who's the most valuable player? Well, before and after, looks like night and day for this Dolphins offense. All right, let's find out what is trending right now. And yes, she was there for a very exciting Game 2 of the World Series. That was a heck of a game yesterday.
It really, I mean, so was Game 1, honestly. Both of them have been really great. Yes, I'm still tired because I think from the screaming, yelling, jumping, I still feel tired. But
came down to the end of the game,
really
bases loaded.
Yes, my mom sent me a text that she almost had a heart attack, like at the end there. And I was like, okay, but it all worked out. It all worked out.
Now, how many World Series games have you been to? You went to games, right, in 2017 and 18?
Yes, so I went to Game 1 and Game 7 in 2017.
Yes.
And then I went to Game 3
in the 18-inning game? Did you stay till the end?
I did.
Because I was outside reporting for the local TV throughout that entire game.
So we got up in the 18th inning, but slowly started making our, like you get up and you're out of your seat, but you're watching and you start making your way. Because it was, I was like 18 innings, and then literally like we're at the gates and we're like, let's just wait. And then we heard the bomb and started running.
Hits the home run,
We started running to the car because we were like, it's going to get crazy. So like it was just, we were not staying past 18 innings. We were not. Like if it would have gone to 19, I was not going to be there. It was a long day. So this was my 4th World Series game. Very lucky to have been to my 4th World Series game.
Well, you were good luck for the Dodgers yesterday. 8 games today, Monty.
8 games to continue Week 8. Yes, let's start with the Bengals and the Eagles. Did you guys know the Eagles are the only team that has not scored points in the first quarter of the entire season?
Wow.
Not even a field goal. Jeez. Like, they have not scored in the first quarter.
Why didn't you tell us about the Eagles? Why didn't you tell us?
And I just went back to confirm, and they have not.
Were you guys not listening to Countdown to Kickoff where Jeff Schwartz
I'm sorry,
had
there it
an
is.
epic rant about that?
Oh,
Did
that's
he?
right.
Okay.
I missed that part of it.
Well, they do have a field goal, but they scored it in the second quarter. But the Bengals are still up 7-3. They just got going in the second. Joe Burrow connecting with Jamar Chase. That's how they got that touchdown. The Browns are beating the Ravens by a field goal 3-0. They're about to start the second quarter. You were just talking about Mason Rudolph tying the game against the Lions with a rushing touchdown. In his opening drive, he threw a pick, but at least he made up for it. So the Titans and the Lions are tied at 7 apiece with 4 minutes to go. The Dolphins have added a field goal, so they've extended their lead over the Cardinals. It's 10-0, 1 minute to go in the first. Patriots, Drake May with the rushing touchdown, beating the Jets at home, 7-0, 4 minutes to go in the first. The Falcons may have scored first today, but the Buccaneers have already responded. Baker Mayfield connecting with Cade Otton, so the Falcons-Buccaneers tied at 7 apiece late in the first. Packers and Jags are scoreless late in the first, and the Colts and the Texans are tied at 3 apiece with about 6 minutes to go in the first quarter. Not sure if you guys saw what Myles Garrett dressed up as today coming into the game against the Ravens. Look it up online, and anyone listening, but he came in as Terminator.
Yeah.
Really?
And he loves Halloween. He went all out on it. It looks so good, and it looks like the Lions just scored.
Jahmyr Gibbs just ran 70 yards for a touchdown, and he was not touched.
And he was not
touched. 70 yards, touchdown. I mean, Montgomery's good. Gibbs is off the charts.
Yeah.
Off tackle play, untouched.
Yeah.
70-yard touchdown.
These are the sort of plays that it feels like the Lions and the Ravens are the only teams who are getting them. That is so well blocked. And then obviously you have an absolute scorcher at running back.
I mean, untouched on a basic off-tackle play. Right now, the Lions and the Ravens are a step ahead of everyone else.
Seems that way.
Right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could change. And I said this before. I take it you're done, Monty?
Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay, that's okay. I didn't want to step on you.
I didn't want to step on you.
By the way, as you guys were saying this too, we're watching the Ravens game in here, and Derrick Henry's bolting off another big run.
Yeah,
of course he is.
But I mean, the last time the Lions won the NFL championship was 1957. In the NFL title game, they beat the Cleveland Browns. The original Cleveland Browns became the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
A little symmetry here. But if you were to say, who would you bank on right now, week 8? It just seems like, Rich, the Ravens and the Lions are playing at a different level.
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no question about how physical they are and how bad teams look after facing them. That's a curiosity as well. Teams that face the Ravens or the Lions on the other side of those games, look at them in the games they play. Slow starts, losses, they just look like they've been through a war. It almost feels like the NFL should prescribe bye weeks after facing Baltimore or Detroit this year.
All right, coming up later on, the Chargers are going to be hosting the Saints, and for the NFL on Fox, she'll be on the sidelines. Christina Pink is joining us. Christina, always great to catch up with you. Let's get right to this. The Saints were the talk of the NFL 2 weeks into the season. Now they've rattled off 5 straight losses and look worse week after week after week. How much danger is in the future of Dennis Allen if they don't pull off a win real quick?
Well, I will say this. I don't know about Dennis Allen's future, but I do think that the Saints coming into this game feel like there's some improvement. Obviously, they've had a ton of injuries. No Derek Carr, of course. He's been out for a few weeks, but they get back, guys like Chris Olave, a few offensive linemen. And so talking to some of their guys, they feel like this is something that'll help them put things together. Obviously, nothing matters till you get out here on the field on Sunday, but I don't get the sense that it's a weight that anybody's kind of carrying on them right now.
And then you look at the other side of the docket with the Chargers, who are also struggling in their own right. They just lost most recently to the Cardinals on Monday Night Football, although many didn't see it because it was only streaming available. It was the second game of a doubleheader. So, yeah, that did happen, by the way, folks. It just may have been hidden from your view. But the Chargers, what I'll say about them in Jim Harbaugh's first season as head coach there, they've been competitive in every single game. They just haven't been able to put it together. What's the secret sauce they're missing? Did you get a chance to talk to the head coach about it?
Yeah, we talked to the head coach, talked to the quarterback, talked to a bunch of their players. The crazy thing about the Chargers is if you look from last season to this season, their defense has made a complete turnaround. So they're just trying to figure out what the offense needs to do to get going. The defense has been what's carried them throughout the season. Offensively, they're still trying to find their identity. They ran the ball a ton early in the season. That was kind of what they leaned on. And then the last couple of games, they've been leaning on Herbert's arm. But talking to coaches, we just weren't able to finish. They had 8 drives. They're able to get in scoring position and then just can't find the guys to make the finishing play. So I think that's kind of something that you expect early when you got a coach that's working with a new team, getting used to new players. They're still trying to figure out what their identity is. But he said we just want to be good at both, and they feel like they're kind of going in the right direction.
Well, I'm just curious, Christina, as far as the direction of that organization, because you see all these wide receivers flying off the market as we approach the trade deadline. Obviously, that's a deficiency for the Chargers in terms of experience at wide receiver. Their passing numbers are down dramatically this year. Is there any buzz at all that they'll try to make a move to add to Justin Herbert's receiving core?
Not that I've heard, but obviously anything can happen. I mean, they're pretty content with what they've been doing right now. Obviously, we saw it the other night in the game that they leaned a lot on, their tight ends. They're getting health as well. Heard, nothing in that regard.
What has the conversation sounded like around Derek Carr and Spencer Rattler? Obviously, Derek Carr hasn't really looked to his caliber of play since he's been in New Orleans. Spencer Rattler obviously filling in for Carr and trying to get his feet wet at the NFL level. Early struggles there. So what's the conversation sounding like inside of the New Orleans Saints? I mean, obviously you trust Carr more, but where are they at in the development of Rattler?
Well, I'll tell you this. They are a lot more confident going into this game with Rattler. The 2 games, to think about it, he's a rookie. He's starting his first couple games. He played 2 games in 5 days. So he felt like they got 10 days off after their Thursday night game. He had a ton more time to prepare. So he feels a lot more settled coming into this game, and that's something that the coaching staff kind of echoed as well. So I think just for sheer preparation, you got a guy who's, the backup, who's not getting reps with the ones, and then you play 2 games in 5 days, obviously with a lot of guys who are injured as well. So all the vibe that you get from them is they feel like he'll come out and perform better today. Also, again, getting back a few more weapons on offense as well.
Yeah, one other thing, Christina, you're going to be out at SoFi Stadium today. The Chargers have been having a hard time really developing a fan base in the L.A. area. We're here in L.A., so we know that well. Obviously, we thought the hiring of Jim Harbaugh was the one move that could move the needle, and yet every home game seems like a road game, whether it was Chiefs fans, Raiders fans filling up. I will say this, you won't know until you're there, but if there are more Saints fans than Charger fans at SoFi today, they got some serious problems.
Yeah, I haven't done actually a Chargers home game in several years. This will be my first one. I'm here now on the field, but, there aren't any fans in the stadium stands right now. But, I won't know till it's obviously that's been, a big problem with the LA teams, and that was certainly the case the last time we did a Chargers game, which was about 4 years ago. So we'll see. I know they're hoping that they get a lot more of that powder blue in the stands today.
Well, Christina, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the game. Again, we're at that point of the season where, teams are trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. So big game for both the Saints and the Chargers. Christina, we always appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
That's Christina Pink on the sidelines for that Saints-Chargers game. And just a quick follow-up there. If the Saints get blown out today by the Chargers, I can't. Is Dennis Allen going to survive this season? Seriously, after 5 straight losses, and I know that, again, Carr's been out. They've had a lot of injuries. I get all that. Every team has injury. A lot of teams have injuries and survive. But it's unreal where a team could start that great for 2 weeks and then rattle off 5 ugly losses.
Well, I mean, they're in the pit of despair right now, and winning cures anything. So when you really look at this is one of those games where they can win, and so they need to. If they lose this game, I think the temperature on the hot seat is going to it's going to reach critical mass. I would be shocked, especially depending on how it happens. If this is a blowout loss for the Saints, I mean, maybe Allen doesn't even get on the plane in L.A. If this is a close but no cigar kind of loss for Dennis Allen, I know he's well liked. I know he's well respected. As far as I've heard, he hasn't lost this locker room yet. So you look at a guy like Dennis Allen and you say, man, he's been given a lot of trust. He's been given a lot of faith, but losing 6 in a row, it doesn't feel like there's many people around the NFL who could survive that at the head coaching position.
The Lions offense is explosive as ever, but as we come to the end of the first quarter, the Titans down 14-7 have a 1st and goal at the Detroit 9-yard line. Mason Rudolph is carving up the Lions secondary. In fact, right now he's on pace for over 600 yards passing in this game. He has 156 yards in the first quarter. So on pace to break the all-time record for passing yards in the game, Mason Rudolph of the Tennessee Titans. We roll on, much more coming up. This is Red Zone Radio.
NFL Sundays live here.
The shotgun snap is low. May has it. He's in the pocket. He's pressured. He's going to run to the right. May to the outside 15. May to the 10. May to the 5. May to the end zone. In for a Patriots touchdown.
It's your NFL Sunday. We're Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox. You know our trusted partner, TireRack.com, for their fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and their great selection of the best tires, like the highly consumer-rated Goodyear Assurance Weather Ready. But did you know they sell other automotive products, wheels, brakes, and suspension, just to name a few? Everything you need to elevate your drive. Go to TireRack.com/sports. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
And now, there are some shows you don't want to miss.
Anyway, it's a big story.
And there are some shows you can't miss.
Yes.
This is Covino and Rich.
Question number one. When this half Guido, half Mexican dude next to me, Covino.
Yeah, very unique guy. The only Mexican Guido from New Jersey that you'll ever meet.
When he goes to Dodger Stadium, should Covino be rocking? Should he be rocking his pinstripes? Because he asked me, he goes, I don't know, should I be wearing my gear? And my answer is 100% yes.
Well, hold on. I would never wear pinstripes to an away game. So I'd wear my Yankee colors. I'm just making it clear. I'd wear my Yankee jersey, an away jersey or something Yankees hat. Got to represent, right? Put on your war colors. It's battle time. Let's go.
You want to match the team. That's cute.
Yeah, you got to. You don't wear home jersey to the away field.
I'm wearing my road grays.
There's rules to this. Now, here's what happened. If you guys remember, I was in a car accident, right? Remember that? I was at physical therapy because I have a C4 through C7 issue with my neck and back.
Doctor said you need a backiotomy, I heard.
Yeah, he's right. So, it's actually my neck and my back, Rich. And
what else?
And there's a big crack in my butt, Sam. And he's working on it. He goes,
I don't know if you'll ever fix that one.
He goes, my friend. He goes, you're going to the game. I'm like, I don't know yet, but I think so. He goes, do me a favor, my friend. And I was like, what? Do not wear your Yankees colors to Dodger Stadium, please, my friend. I'm like, really? You know, I was thinking about that.
Hey, this is Cheech, and this is Chong, and you're listening to Covino and Rich, so listen up.
To get the rest of what Covino and Rich said, podcast it by searching Covino and Rich. And as always, you can hear Covino and Rich weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Right now, the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
If I'm to listen and believe what the NFL says with their officials, you have an official who is looking at the line play, offensive, certainly defensive line. And then you have a referee who's looking at the quarterback. How does one of those two not see a lineman grabbing Sam Darnold's face mask, or just the body language of how he contorted back, and the official whose job is to watch the quarterback? How do you miss that? You can't review it, and it was an obvious face mask. Now, I wondered, since it was a scoring play, is there a loophole that it's a scoring play even though it's a safety? But from what I'm told, you can't review a scoring play like that because then you'd have to call a penalty, and you can't do that.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 10th inning, and Freddie Freeman. Oh my goodness! Oh my God! Freddie Freeman just hits a grand slam! Oh my goodness! The Dodgers win Game 1, 6-3. Oh my God! I love baseball. I love baseball. He's posing, rounding the bases. He knew it was gone when he hit it. Aaron Boone and the Yankees are stunned. The entire Dodgers team is at home plate. They are beating the crap out of Freeman standing on home plate. The first pitch from Nestor Cortez is deposited into the stands. I told you it's going to be a series we were going to talk about for 30 years. We are absolutely going to see that.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon.
Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific
on Fox Sports Radio. Scrolling mindlessly.
We know all about your social media habits. So, scroll past the cute dog videos, scroll past the DIY, you know, the ones that you have no business watching, and the thirst traps.
Wait a minute.
Fine, you can look at those, but start putting that algorithm to use.
Now it's social media.
Follow us at Fox Sports Radio.
The big story of the day.
Interact with us at Fox Sports Radio.
I want people to pull up a chair.
Find out at Fox Sports Radio. It's Fox Football Sunday.
Yes!
And we're marching you right down the field on Red Zone Radio.
To the 5, touchdown!
Back to Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger.
Off out of the gun, hands it to Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs there.
There you go. 30, go. 35 to 40.
There you
First
go.
a quarter to 50. It's a foot race down the left sideline. Gibbs, 20, 15, 10, 5, end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Oh, baby, 70 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs found the opening, and they couldn't find him.
That's 97.1 The Ticket, Lions Radio Network. That gave the Lions a 14-7 lead over the Titans, but the Titans answered right back. Touchdown pass for Mason Rudolph. He is on pace for a record passing day, all tied up. And then the Lions got a big kickoff return. Chris, who delivered the big kickoff return for the Lions?
Dorsey, 72 yards on the kickoff return. Almost looked like he was going to go to the house. He gets shoved out. Lions back in the red zone already.
All right, so the Lions right now 3rd and 6 down at the Tennessee 21-yard line. Red Zone Radio here. Steve Harbin, Rich Armberger. We're live from the TireRack.com studios. And by the way, the Cardinals got on the scoreboard, so they have cut that Dolphins lead 10-7. Just a quick rundown of the scores here, Rich. So we got the Colts up 10-3 early on the road against the Texans. Packers are up 7-0 on the road against the Jags. Bucks lead the Falcons 14-7. Patriots over the Jets 7-6. I mentioned the Dolphins 10-7 over the Cardinals. Titans, Lions tied at 14. Browns, Ravens tied at 3. And the Bengals with a 10-3 lead over the Eagles. So a lot of excitement early on here on this Sunday.
Yeah, scoring and scoring and scoring some more. We're starting to see the better teams pull away. Although, I mean, how about the Titans? They look much better with Mason Rudolph in at quarterback since switching out Will Levis. I mean, this is a thing, and it's interesting because
he is throwing the ball really well, Rich.
He's throwing the football really well, and we saw what this coach could do as an offensive coordinator working with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, and we thought that maybe it would aid in the development of Will Levis, and it hasn't. Unfortunately, still is very hot and cold when he was starting earlier this season. But Mason Rudolph, very, very different-looking quarterback under center for the Titans.
Well, remember last year, he started those games late in the year for the Steelers and looked good.
Yep.
It was like, is he still on the Steelers after all these years as they have been shuffling quarterbacks in and out? I dare say maybe the Steelers gave up on him a little bit too early. Ravens and Browns. This is quite a story. You got this high-powered Ravens attack. You know, right now, Lamar Jackson has distanced himself from the field as far as MVP. But the Browns are an inspired group today, and they are shutting down this Ravens offense.
Yeah, it's really impressive what they're doing. And the Ravens are the class of the AFC as far as I'm concerned. And I feel like when you look at what's made the Ravens special over the seasons, it's been obviously a great defense and a special teams unit, but also a great rushing attack provided almost entirely by Lamar Jackson. He has been the rushing leader for the Ravens every single year he's been the starting quarterback in Baltimore. And that includes the 2 years where he suffered injuries and he didn't even play all the games. There were 2 years where he only started 12 games for the Ravens in the regular season. He was still their rushing leader. So it's insane how much he's had to do to keep this offense afloat. Do you know who the rushing leader in Baltimore is this year? It isn't Lamar Jackson. It's Derrick Henry. So with him having a load off his shoulders, it's been looking so much better. But the Browns are putting up a great fight in the first half.
Lions retake the lead on a touchdown pass from Jared Goff to Brock Wright, the tight end. So the Lions, 21-14 lead now over the Titans. And we still got 13 minutes to go in the first half. If you bet the over on that game, you're feeling pretty good. By the way, I mentioned earlier, Patriots leading the Jets 7-6. That's because Greg the Leg Zuerlein missed the extra point.
Oof.
And he's coming off a week. You know, they had some win situations. Looks like they have a lot of needs on this team, and Zuerlein suddenly is not making kicks. Kickers are replaceable if you can't get the job done, especially with the unbelievable percentages the kickers have these days, even from 50 and beyond. Greg the Leg could be in deep trouble if he can't make extra points.
Yeah, you absolutely need to make extra points. And we've seen so many close games. There's always close games in the NFL. Every single point matters every single Sunday, Thursday, Monday, and sometimes even a Monday nighter where they bury it on a streaming app. It doesn't matter when you play. You need to make kicks.
All right, Texans getting close to a score at home against the Colts. We got a busy Sunday. Keep it here. This is Red Zone Radio.
Make pro-quality pizza at home with Uni. Today, Uni has 8 ovens to choose from, including ultra-portable models, ovens great for entertaining, and the electric Uni Volt, which can be used indoors or outdoors. All Uni ovens can get up to at least 850 degrees Fahrenheit and cook pizzas in 90 seconds or less. Along with ovens, Uni has a huge array of premium cookware for those rare occasions when you don't feel like pizza. If you want to find out more about Uni, you can visit uni.com. That's OONI.com.
An official message from Medicare. Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money. Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken. Wow. You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app. And now, here's a little something that you missed from the Ben Maller Show.
Think of it like instant mashed potatoes, just add some water.
Daniel Jones said that Brian Dable, the coach, told the Giant team after the game on Sunday that he's the starting quarterback going forward. So that means that Daniel Jones is going to start on Monday night. Yeah, he's going to start on Monday against the Steelers. Another primetime game for Daniel Jones of the Giants. Man, I mean, that is outstanding, unless it's not. So let us discuss. Now, the better story is in the losing locker room, so that's almost always Daniel Jones. Almost always Daniel Jones and his locker. So the question for the esteemed panel here, very simple. What is the core of this Daniel Jones vote of confidence story with the Giants? What is the core of it? The first thing is Drew Lock, the backup. This is a vote of no confidence. If Drew Lock had shown any kind of a pulse, he'd be playing. But he sucks also. So because he sucks, more than or as much as Daniel Jones' job is not in jeopardy. But if you just go by the body of his work and you judge him on his performance, the merits of his performance, Daniel Jones should be packing groceries, is what he should be doing. Let's keep it real here, right? He's a scatterbrained quarterback.
To get the rest of what Big Ben said, podcast it by searching The Ben Maller Show. And as always, you can hear The Ben Maller Show weekdays from 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Herd.
Wow, 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 wow.
With Colin Cowherd.
Take out Mahomes, who would you want with a ball with a minute and a half left and one timeout to score a touchdown? Matt Stafford arguably is number 2. You think Sean McVay is unhappy with that quarterback after that performance? He still doesn't have his best interior offensive lineman. He still doesn't have his top tight end. He just got his receivers finally back, but it's still a makeshift offensive line. Take out Mahomes, your best quarterback in the league is Matt Stafford. There's no real play to trade Matt Stafford unless you're bottoming out. And why would you? The Rams won 7 of 8 games last year, went to the playoffs, and were a play away from beating Detroit. I told you beginning of last year, this is not a rebuilding roster. You saw that defense last night. So the last 2 drafts, they've poured their draft picks at the top to defense.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Wow.
Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Want the best?
We're waiting.
A straight shooter.
That's the kind of guy that I am.
2 words. Doug Gottlieb.
Yo, let me grab this mic right here one time.
Better yet, Coach Gottlieb.
Now you got it.
Admit it. Your afternoons just got better.
Dude, you get everybody in, you look them in the eye and go, let's go. You know who I am. Like, do you understand the value in that?
It's the Doug Gottlieb Show. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Right here on Fox Sports Radio. FS1.
Looking for the one, what you looking at the one?
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Looking for the one, what you looking at the one?
And here's what you need to know.
Jahmyr Gibbs turned it on for the Lions.
Off out of the gun, hands it to Jahmyr Gibbs. There he
There
goes.
you
Cross
go.
30,
Go.
35 to the 40.
There you
First
go.
and quarter
to 50. It's a foot race down the left sideline. Gibbs, 20, 15, 10, 5, end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Oh, baby, 70 yards.
The Ticket Lions radio network, they have actually extended their lead some more. They're beating the Titans 21-14 early in the second quarter. The Ravens and the Browns are tied at 3 apiece with less than 5 minutes to go in the first half. The Browns have the ball at Baltimore's 15-yard line, and it's 3rd and 8. The Bengals are beating the Eagles 10-3 with 5 minutes to go in the first half. The Dolphins are on top of the Cardinals 10-7 with less than 5 minutes to go in the first half. Tua Tagovailoa, 12 of 16 for 80 yards in his return. The Jets missed an extra point, so the Patriots are on top 7-6 early in the second. Drake May is questionable to return due to a concussion.
This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. The play.
How about that second effort to get in the end zone?
The hit. Your team. Your game.
You got the pass on that.
It's all broken down right here. Fox Sports Red Zone Radio is now live from the TireRack.com studios of Fox Sports Radio. Here's Steve Hartman and 6-year NFL veteran Rich Ornberg.
Rolling along in a very busy NFL Sunday morning. This is Red Zone Radio, and we are broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. TireRack.com, we're going to help get you there. Unmatched selection, fast free shipping, free road hazard protection, over 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Morning on the West Coast, early afternoon on the East Coast, and we got some exciting games going on right now across the National Football League. One quick update right now, 8 minutes to go in the first half. The Packers already leading the Jags 7-0. Have a first and goal at the, after a penalty, now at the Jacksonville 14-yard line. The Lions scored again, Rich, after another pick. So Mason Rudolph, it's been good news, bad news. He's made some great throws, but he's also thrown a couple of interceptions, and the Lions always take advantage of that. So 28-14 now, Lions in control early against the Titans.
Yeah, if there's one thing the Lions and Dan Campbell has been great at is capitalizing off of sudden changes. You know, you have these opportunities where your special teams unit gets a big return, or your defense steals a possession, or, you know, all of a sudden you have an opportunity to score before halftime because you're getting the ball back on the other side of the half. It feels like the Detroit Lions in those situations really make the most of it. It's the hallmark of a good coach, and a well-coached team is understanding the gravity of momentum shifts and taking advantage of those moments.
The Colts and Texans are tied at 10. Last week, I made a bold prediction that C.J. Stroud would not have a touchdown pass. I got it right. He doesn't have a touchdown pass yet either today. On the other side, the Colts come into this game at 4-3, very much in the playoff mix. Anthony Richardson today is 2 of 9 passing. But one of those passes was a 69-yard touchdown pass to Josh Downs. So you're the Colts, you're in the mix. You got Joe Flacco, who led the Browns into the playoffs a year ago. What do you do here? I mean, do you stay with Richardson as he struggles with accuracy? Because, again, no matter how talented you are and the gifts you may be given, if you can't hit your target as an NFL quarterback, you're up against it. How should the Colts handle this if they continue to stay in the mix in terms of a playoff position?
Boy, it's so tricky, right? Because you want to make sure you give a third overall draft pick every opportunity for success, and you don't want to undermine his development because of one season. However, we also know how critical one season can be for the continuity of a franchise. All these players in your locker room understand who's good and who should play. And so if your players know that Joe Flacco gives you the best opportunity to win, and you are force-feeding the team Anthony Richardson because the front office or the coaching staff needs to justify the draft pick, you're going to start hearing things. And that's where it felt like the Cleveland Browns situation was heading with Deshaun Watson, right? It felt like the wrong guy was starting at quarterback. You didn't even necessarily know if it was going to look better with the guy or the guys who were on the bench for the Cleveland Browns, but you just knew it wasn't looking good with their current starting quarterback. So he's getting force-fed. You could end up in a situation like that much faster with the Indianapolis Colts because you know Joe Flacco can play. You absolutely know he can play.
The Browns and the Ravens, 6-3. The Browns are leading this game with under 4 minutes to go in the half. The Browns have outgained the Ravens in this game. Yeah. Let's think about this. So Jameis Winston is 10 of 15, 110 yards passing in this game. Lamar Jackson, 6-9, just 65 yards. Derrick Henry has 5 carries for 47 yards, but 39 of those yards came on 1 carry. Take that away, he has 4 carries for 8 yards. So they're playing this on very even terms. And this looked like, on paper, a huge mismatch. The Ravens, I think, are 8.5-point favorites, at least on the road against this Browns team. But this, again, tells you week to week in the NFL. Just when you think, all right, now this is a gimme, right? Come on. I mean, the Browns, Jameis Winston at quarterback, Lamar Jackson's on fire right now. The Ravens offense can't be stopped. Well, they're getting stopped today by a very inspired Browns defense.
Yeah, I really love watching teams respond to turmoil, right? Whether it's internal or external. When a team is starting to get counted out or, huge change that may have a negative impact on their season is made or an injury occurs, I love watching teams rally. And look, Kevin Stefanski has done a phenomenal job keeping the wheels on the rails at multiple times during his tenure as head coach in Cleveland. I mean, just think about the firestorm that was at the Cleveland Browns front door when they traded for and signed for Deshaun Watson in the first place. I mean, that was a nightmare situation. And I don't even know if Kevin Stefanski wanted Deshaun Watson. Maybe he did. Maybe this was a decision made over his head and he had to deal with the outcomes. But he's found a way through it all to sustain some level of success. Now, has it been great? No, because Deshaun Watson hasn't been great. But when he's been injured and he's had to patch together game plans with backup quarterbacks, he's had success. And so it's not shocking me entirely that this coach and these players are rallying around Jameis Winston and putting up a great fight against the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, one game definitely living up to the hype today is this battle in the NFC South between the Falcons and the Buccaneers, and Kirk Cousins has just thrown his third touchdown pass of the game, this one to Mooney after 2 earlier touchdown passes to Pitts. So Kirk Cousins, 9 of 13, 180 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks. Meanwhile, on the other side, Baker Mayfield, 15 of 17, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks. And that's without his top receivers in the game for the Buccaneers. So I always like when a game, 2, 4, and 3 teams looking for sort of, take a foothold there in that NFC South. And right now, this one is a great shootout between quarterbacks, both playing at a high level, Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, you got to love what you've seen from Kirk Cousins. You got to love what you've seen from Baker Mayfield. And both of them kind of similar situations joining their NFC South teams. Baker Mayfield taken off the scrap heap, so to speak, and given an opportunity to be a bridge quarterback, and he wins the starting job. Kirk Cousins a little bit different, but a lot to prove, right? He has an Achilles injury. He signs the big contract. However, they then trade up and draft the starting quarterback from Washington who appeared in the national championship game in Penix Jr. So it felt like Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield both had to keep a younger quarterback at bay by proving that they should be the starting quarterback in Tampa Bay and Atlanta, respectively. And so far they have.
All right, Bo, let's get an update on your Eagles game here against the Bengals. It's only 10-3, so the Eagles are, in it, and they have the ball right now on the Cincinnati 33-yard line. We just hit the 2-minute warning, so we're inside 2 minutes right now. What's going on with your Eagles offense?
Same thing that always goes on with them. There's a nice
first down pass, perfect pass there.
Yeah.
From Jalen Hurts to Brown. So now they're in good at the 16-yard line of the Bengals.
The big issue in this game on the Bengals touchdown. I think Nolan Smith was covering Jamar Chase in the end zone. That's a linebacker on the top 2 wide receiver in the league. So I don't know if that's going to go in your favor every time, but.
Well, actually, considering the Burrows got pretty good numbers, obviously, 16 of 20, 370 yards, a touchdown, and no picks. The one thing missing for the Bengals is they have no run offense. And Saquon Barkley so far, only 28 yards rushing for Saquon against a Bengals team that has given up plenty of yards on the ground. So still waiting for Saquon, whose long run so far today is 7 yards to break one off.
That's fine. He's one of those guys that can go for 70 that Rich failed to mention earlier. So,
sorry about that.
I didn't forget.
No, listen, I mean, the home run hitter out of Penn State. I mean, there's no question about it.
Come on.
It needs to be added to the list. But yeah, Saquon Barkley, he has not gotten loose in this game. But you know this, Bo, as well as anybody who watched him in college. He's a little bit of a feast or famine rusher. He'll get 3 yards, 2 yards, negative 1 yard, and then all of a sudden he'll rack off one of those 75-yard rushes for a touchdown. You go, where has that been all game long? You love it when it happens, but it is a little bit of feast or famine with Saquon Barkley.
Earlier we failed to report that Drake May, New England quarterback, was taken off with concussion protocol. What was the update on that one, Chris, on Drake May? I know Jacoby Brissett came in.
No, he's just being evaluated for concussion was the last report I got.
All right, so Jeff's being evaluated. It's been a tough start for him today. 3 of 6, only 23 yards. In fact, as a team, New England has 18 net yards passing. It's not like Aaron Rodgers is lighting it up. He's 7 of 10, 2 touchdowns, but he's only thrown for 51 yards in this game. So tough defensive battle. The Jets desperate to get a win, at least against the hapless Patriots, and they lead this game by a score of 13-7 inside 6 minutes to go. But both defenses are playing well.
If there is a situation where the Patriots drop down to their third-string quarterback at any point in this game, and the Jets don't get this victory, I mean, we can call it. You know what I mean? Right. I don't think we even need to check the pulse. Mm-hmm. I don't think you could zip the bag closed. You can put the toe tag on. The Jet season's officially over.
I mean, again, where's their offense? I mean, and New England's got a pretty good defense. I'm not going to take that away from the Patriots, but I mean, you've got all these weapons. Remember how excited Aaron Rodgers was to leave what he thought was a diminishing supporting crew in Green Bay for these riches of all these young players with Wilson and Breece Hall and all these great weapons they have. Now they add Devontae Adams. Still, where's their defense? Meanwhile, I keep watching the Lions making long runs here. What's this latest one here, Chris? What happened here with the Lions leading the Titans by a score of 28-14?
Interesting little drive there by the Titans, but I think the Lions are clamping down on Mason Rudolph, and a big punt return by Terrion Arnold from, I believe, he received it, I believe, at the 15.
Okay, well, the
Lions are about to start on their own 20.
All right, so you had a long kickoff return and now a long punt return. Maybe it's a little time to get into that special teams room, Rich, and do some search. You don't like to see multiple long returns in the same game against your special teams.
Yeah, it's a little bit brutal and disheartening when you're playing well, you're on the road, and all of a sudden your special teams units are giving up, getting in the habit of giving up half fields to your opponent offensively.
Yeah, it always helps a Lions offense that doesn't need a lot of help to start on the 20-yard line for a scoring drive, but that's where they are, again, leading this game by a score of 28-14. All right, we're starting to approach halftime of these 8 games around the NFL. For all the scores, the stats, everything you need, we've got it for you. This is Red Zone Radio.
We don't just talk about the NFL. We know our NFL.
You can sit there and say you're playing lesser opponents. That's how you get beat. Listen, the NFL is always going to be shield-driven.
This is your home for the NFL because on Fox Sports Radio, NFL game days are different.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or 2 half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real-person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message is for anyone looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, even if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or taking anxiety meds. Here's an example. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe overweight with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost about $200 a month. We're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. If you've had prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Get a quick quote by calling Term Provider at 800-529-2856. 800-529-2856. If you're looking for term life insurance but have type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, or have other health issues, call Term Provider at 800-529-2856 or visit termprovider.com. Termprovider.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
On the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
I'm just going to say it because it's going to seem weird.
You'll get this.
I'm not saying the guy's overrated.
And some of this.
Oh. Like death, pettiness knows no tax bracket.
Whoa, hey now. And on occasion.
5, 2, 1. What's our disaster scenario early on in the season?
That.
Yeah, baby. Let's go.
It's the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. On Fox Sports Radio.
Ask yourself this.
Now, here's a taste of something that you missed from the Doug Gottlieb Show.
Ready? I got to share with you something. I coached my first college game in front of fans. That actually wasn't the thing. It was cool. We won. I have a player named Anthony Roy, and I didn't want this to get out, but it's a scrimmage in front of people, and there's television cameras there, so it's gotten out. He had 46 points in 25 minutes. He made 12 consecutive three-pointers.
Wow.
Like, I've never seen that, heard of that, literally ever. Wow. I would love to know what's the most consecutive made three-pointers in NBA, in one game in NBA history. I would love to, does anybody know, like, what was, like, when Clay had that crazy night, like, in 26 minutes, I had never seen anything like that. It was a sight to behold. So somebody, we don't have much of a crack staff, but somebody who's, you guys, like, Sammy, open up the door, yell down the aisle, yell down the hall. Hey, Big Mike, Google. Somebody tell me, I've never seen, have you ever heard of that before? Bo, have you ever heard of that before?
It's Ty Lawson with 10 consecutive.
Okay. He had 12 threes. Last one was a logo one, by the way. It was, I just.
Not three.
Not two, not three, not four. Not five.
Not six.
Not six.
Not seven.
Not seven. Not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, 12. That's good coaching, by the way, right?
To get the rest of what Doug said, podcast it by searching The Doug Gottlieb Show. And as always, you can hear The Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. Y'all realize The Odd Couple is loved. I love you. I mean, just listen to these people.
Hey, new show sounds great. I want to welcome Calvin.
Welcome, Calvin. You're bringing in some youthful imagery to The Odd Couple.
They can't get enough of The Odd Couple.
You know, the new iteration of The Odd Couple is great to see.
Rob Parker, Calvin Washington, a show that no one can miss. Check it. Hold up. It's The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Calvin Washington. You can hear them right here. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. We know content is king.
You listening, everyone?
That's why our lineup is oozing with legends.
Welcome to the program.
We got something. We got a story.
With experience.
That's the game in life.
He used to rock his uniform the same exact way I do.
With them.
Man!
Let me talk.
And them.
Oh, you're that bloke on the radio.
And now I've got that image in your head.
You name it, we got it.
There's a difference there.
We're different. We're better.
Let that one sink in.
We're Fox Sports Radio.
Let's finish. Oh!
You're listening to Red Zone Radio.
Back to the end zone.
We're taking you across the NFL.
To the end zone. Touchdown.
And into the red zone. Once again, here's Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger.
Cousins in the gun. 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Here's Kirk from the pocket. Throws. Mooney caught. Touchdown Atlanta. Darnell Mooney again. Just continues to terrorize Tampa.
That's 92.9 The Game. Falcons Radio Network. Big showdown in the NFC South. First place on the line, and the Falcons lead the Buccaneers 21-17. We got a minute to go in the first half of that game. Once again, this is Red Zone Radio. Steve Hartman, Rich Ornberger with you here live from the TireRack.com studios. Let's update the scoreboard. 22 seconds remaining in the first half. Bengals lead the Eagles 10-9. It's the Ravens over the Browns 10-6. All scores right at the end of the first half. Lions blowing out the Titans 35-14. Halftime, Dolphins lead the Cardinals 13-7. Just before the half, Jets lead the Patriots 13-7. We mentioned the Falcons 21-17 over the Bucks. Packers having a struggle on the road against the Jags, lead 10-7. And the Colts Texans are tied at 10. So close games across the board, with the exception of this Lions game that has gotten completely out of control. Lions, by the way, the most points they have scored in the first half of a game since 1970.
Yeah.
1970. Yeah. Last time they put up as many as 35 points in the first half against the Titans team that, despite some promising signs from Mason Rudolph today, zero defense. And their special teams have been atrocious.
This Detroit Lions team, I mean,
yeah,
they are special.
Whew.
Because everybody's hurt around the NFL at different points, and you have to handle it. You got to figure out. You got to find a way. You need to persevere, and certain teams can do it, and certain teams can't. And I was talking about this with Chris Perfett, our resident Lions fan here in studio, about this at break. I mean, look, not all injuries are created equal. You're going to lose key players at times throughout the season, either for the entire season or sometimes for part of the season. You still got to find a way to adjust. And it looked like early in this game, as a result of some of the injuries on their defense, the Titans were having some success. They were still trying to figure it out. And then all of a sudden, it's just all gas, no brakes. The Detroit Lions just piling it on right now.
Well, remember, we had the disaster that was the hiring of Matt Patricia as the head coach of the Lions, and it looked like a bad situation was going to – I mean, Caldwell had actually had some good years coaching that Lions team. They're bringing Patricia, another failed ex-assistant of Belichick. And that first year, Rich, you and I were talking about, Campbell, and they were struggling to win games early on. You were one of those that said, you got to stay with this guy. I mean, maybe something will happen. Remember his first year, they're 3-13-1, actually had a worse record than the year before under Matt Patricia. And then the next year, you could just see signs that whatever he was feeding that team, they were eating it, they were buying it. Jared Goff all of a sudden went from a guy that was a placeholder back to a level of being a premier quarterback, and look where they are right now.
And like a big case in that was how they turned around too, was even in that first year, they decided to mid-season firing, hit the bye week, and said Anthony Lynn, former Chargers head coach who they brought in as their offensive coordinator, they said, hey, we're going to make the hard choice to move on from you very quickly. And
that wasn't a hard choice.
Well, but still, they then go to a tight ends coach who's left over from Matt Patricia by the name of Ben Johnson.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, the rest is kind of.
How much do they pay Ben Johnson to keep him?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit, yeah. Yeah, they don't want to lose that guy.
This is what good coaches do. This is what good organizations do.
Yep.
And the Detroit Lions very quickly are turning into a good organization. It's behind the leadership of Dan Campbell. You pay talented coordinators. You pay talented coaches. In fact, there are times where the best head coaches will actually take some discounts to make sure that the organization hires the right people. They'll sacrifice some of their own salary in order, and a lot of this stuff happens, but behind the scenes, you'll hear it from agents sometimes or front office folks like, this guy, he shaved a bonus and he gave it to his coordinators to make sure to keep them happy because he wanted the gang back together again. Those things happen with good teams, good organizations, coaches who understand the value of wins and long-term success over short-term gains, whether it be financially or even, occasionally with players in trades. The players are as much assets as anything else in an organization. Dan Campbell's doing it right. He's created a culture that I think is going to be is currently trying to be mimicked around the NFL. And a lot of teams are turning back to the run game. They're turning back to what the Baltimore Ravens have been doing for years and years and years. Now you got an NFC example, and in my opinion, they're the best NFC team in the league right now.
Well, one of the signs of a good team is when you're playing inferior opponents, put them away.
Yeah.
Don't play around with inferior teams, and that's what they're doing right now, the Titans. Some of the halftime stats, by the way, the Eagles got it even. So 10-10 at the half, Bengals and the Eagles. Big game for both of these teams. Bengals still looking for their first home win this year. Burrow, 16 of 24, 169 yards and a score. Jalen Hurts, 7-11, 86 yards. He has a rushing touchdown in this game on one of the old pushes to get him in. Ravens at the half, just barely leading the Browns by a score of 10-6. And Jameis Winston has been okay. Anything's better than Deshaun Watson, 10 of 1,610 yards. Key stat here, no picks. Lamar Jackson, by his standards, a pedestrian day. 95-yard passing and a score. He only has 13 yards rushing in this game. So the Browns defense really doing a number here, Rich. Dolphins and Cardinals are at the half. Dolphins lead by a score of 13-7. Tua got off to a hot start, slow down after that. He's 19 of 25, 162 yards, no scoring plays. And Kyler Murray really hasn't done much today against this Dolphins defense. Kyler Murray, 79 yards passing and a scored touchdown pass to Michael Wilson. And he's got only 8 yards on the ground. Marvin Harrison Jr. obviously came in with a huge hype this year. Had some big games early on, but it seems to have slowed a little bit recently with Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? Kyler Murray and this Cardinals team, the first game, it was a shootout. It was an exciting game against the Bills, but Marvin Harrison Jr. really didn't get a lot of love in terms of the stat sheet. And then all of a sudden, it sort of became the unofficial rule, like you feed Marvin Harrison Jr., and they did so for the next couple of weeks. They got that huge win over the Rams and then lost a close one to the Lions. But since, it's been a little bit of mixed results. They've been win some, lose some, and now against the Dolphins, they're putting up a fight. The Cardinals are another team, man. You know, last year with Jonathan Gannon, his rookie season, things weren't perfect, but I said, that is a dog with a lot of fight in it. And I haven't given up hope on the Cardinals. There's that midseason drop-off that we've seen with Kyler Murray. I'm curious if we're going to see it this season. It hasn't happened yet. It could be coming. It could be waiting in the near distance. But I'm very curious about Jonathan Gannon because everybody ruled out the Cardinals, and I'm not trying to say they were a special team last year. They weren't. That's the reason why they were able to bring in a talent like Marvin Harrison Jr. But the entire season, they fought hard. They gave some great teams some real troubles. And this season, they're absolutely better than they were a year ago.
Well, think about the NFC West going into this week. You had the Seahawks at 4-3, Cardinals, Rams after their win on Thursday, and the 49ers all at 3-4. And boy, do the Rams look a hell of a lot different with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp back in the fold. I mean, 4 touchdown passes for Matthew Stafford. Their defense did a pretty good job. It was a tough week for the Vikings, coming off a tough loss to the Lions, short week on the road. But that being said, the Rams were sitting at 1-4, and if they can keep their receiving core healthy, is it possible the Rams could win the NFC West?
It's possible.
I mean, last year they finished with 7 wins in their last 8 games to get into the playoffs.
The well-coached teams find a way.
Yes.
Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the NFL.
He is.
There's no questioning that. He is. He's one of the younger coaches who ever got a head coaching job.
Youngest.
The youngest. And as a result, I think there were a lot of people who didn't believe. Yeah, well, he made a lot of believers around the NFL, and he proved a lot of people very, very wrong after that hiring, and he's only continued. And he's gotten more creative with it because he's had to. You know, Jared Goff, they were running out of rope. They didn't feel like they could get it done with him. They trade for Stafford. They win a Super Bowl. Aaron Donald retires. You have this situation where this team in complexion is going to look very, very different, and they're finding a way. It's the mark of a good head coach, regardless the circumstances. They find a way to win.
All right, things are moving quickly. Let's find out what is trending right now. And Monty, how are your fantasy teams doing today?
Well, you brought up Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
And I have him in 2 leagues, and I regret all my decisions.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
when he first got on the scene, it was like, wow,
Yeah.
this guy's gonna be a juggernaut. But yeah, they've struggled.
And I think he had 1 game where it was like, all right.
Yeah.
And then he's been kind of quiet. So that one hit me hard. The Lions are the highest scoring team so far in today's slate of games. But what's interesting, so the Lions are beating the Titans 35-14, less than 30 seconds to go in this one. Jared Goff has just thrown for 28 yards. But he's thrown a couple touchdown passes. Also, David Montgomery threw a touchdown pass to Sam Laporta. So everyone's just getting involved for the Lions today. So yeah, 35-14, 17 seconds to go before halftime. Most of these games are at halftime, if not heading into halftime. The Eagles and the Bengals are tied at 10 apiece. Joe Burrow, 16 of 24, 169 yards and 1 touchdown. Saquon Barkley, though, for the Eagles, 9 carries and just 35 yards. The Ravens managed to get a touchdown right before halftime to take the lead over the Browns. It's 10-6. Then we got the Cardinals and the Dolphins in Miami. Tua Tagovailoa is back. What a different team Miami has now. 19 of 25, 162 yards. They're beating the Cardinals 13-7. It's also 13-7 in favor of the Jets against the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers, 8 of 13, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns. Drake May is out for the Patriots due to a concussion, officially declared out for the rest of the game. Jacoby Brissett will be in. As they keep going, the Falcons are beating the Buccaneers. They just hit a field goal right before halftime, so it's 24-17. Kirk Cousins, 14 of 20, 224 yards, 3 touchdowns. And it looks like Houston just took the lead with a passing touchdown from C.J. Stroud to Tank Dell. So they are now beating the Colts 16-10 with about 15 seconds to go. With about 15 seconds to go in Jacksonville, the Packers are beating the Jaguars 13-7. And it was reported earlier today in the WNBA, fellas, that the Fever decided to part ways with head coach Christy Sides today. I just find that weird.
Yeah, well,
Like, the timing seems a little bit weird for me.
they want. I wonder who made that call.
I wonder who made the call, but it's just a weird day, right? Like, why?
You would think you might confer with your superstar over the coach, and if she says,
"Sure,
yeah, let's move on,"
Yeah.
you move on.
Yes, totally.
Wow.
Wow. And the AP football poll is here, fellas. Oregon, Georgia, Penn State, Ohio State.
Wow.
Top 4. Miami, number 5. Its highest ranking since 2017. While Notre Dame, BYU, and Texas A&M actually moved into the top 10. Army is still there, but Navy's out.
Yeah, by the way, last night, that late game with Colorado, Travis Hunter back in the mix.
Oh, yeah.
He was healthy yesterday, had his biggest receiving game yet. He was on the field for every play of the game, I think.
Really?
I think he missed one play. Damn. So after a couple of weeks where he was a little banged up, yeah, Travis Hunter very much back in the Heisman chase. All right, Monsi, thank you very much. By the way, you talk about statistical anomalies. So the Lions are leading the Titans 35-14 at halftime, right? Jared Goff, as Monsi mentioned, has 28 yards passing at the half. In fact, think about this. The Lions have 9 net yards passing, and they have 3 touchdown passes. Like, I've never seen that before. So they have 9 net yards passing, and they have 3 touchdown passes. I've never seen that before.
Neither have I really. It's kind of amazing that in 2024, where if you look at the high school level, especially with the 7-on-7s and, the quarterback camps and the flag football leagues and the deep threat quarterbacks coming out of the high school system. And then you go to the college system where it's, a lot of the RPO game and a lot of the vertical passing attack, that one of the best teams in the NFL right now, you look at their box score and you look at their starting quarterback and you're like, okay, he's 6 for 8 for 28, and they're leading 35-14. He's thrown 2 touchdown passes, and his running back has thrown a touchdown pass as well.
Yeah.
And they've only netted 9 yards after all it's said and done. It's almost unfathomable, but it just goes to show you with creativity and the ability to run the football, you can still win at the highest level.
Net yards passing at the half. The Titans have 212. The Lions have 9. 212 net yards passing to 9, and the Lions are up 3 touchdowns. Complete breakdown in the special teams of the Titans, a big part of it. In fact, the Lions, they have 133 total yards. 70 of that was on one carry by Jahmyr Gibbs. You take that away, they only had 63 offensive yards, and still 35-14. Obviously, a couple turnovers for Rudolph, a couple of interceptions, long returns, and then the long kickoff, long punt return set up a short field for that Lions offense. But you know what? We said the same thing about the Chiefs. You have the Chiefs at 6-0 right now, and your quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, for the season has 6 touchdowns and 8 picks. He is statistically in the bottom third of quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and they're 6-0. And this, again, gets down to the bottom line in the NFL. There are no style points. You got to find a way to win. Good teams can find ways to overcome whatever adversities they face during the course of a game and come out with the W at the end of the day. That's when you know you have a good team.
Yeah, look, Mahomes, for everything negative you could say about Patrick Mahomes so far this season, and there's plenty, what you have to say is he's pretty clutch, and he is. I think he's truly one of those quarterbacks who cares so much or so little about his own personal success and so much more about team success. It is the first and only real reminder that Tom Brady may have been a unicorn, but there's others like him out there. And Patrick Mahomes proves that case. I don't know if he'll have as much success as Tom Brady, although he's pacing in that direction. I don't know if we're going to consider him the greatest of all time when he finishes up his career. But this pairing between Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid has been pitch perfect from the start. And whether it's been baked into him or he's learned it along the way, Patrick Mahomes just knows how to win. And I got to say the same thing about this Detroit Lions team. Not to the level of a Tom Brady or a Patrick Mahomes, a Patriots or a Chiefs team, but this Lions team, they seem to know how to put away opponents. They seem to know how to win, and it's been fun watching the process.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So, look, the bottom line in this league is winning. And Patrick Mahomes is number one with a star and another star and another star. He's just the best. And it doesn't matter what the stats say. The only stat that matters, as you said, are wins and losses. And the Chiefs are a perfect 6-0. All right, so if we always get to this point where we got a little halftime going on, we can start taking a peek at some of the games that are coming up a little bit later. Let me ask you about this game. The Bills and the Seahawks, two first-place teams. The Bills at times have looked good. At other times, you're like, not quite sure with the Bills right now. Seahawks, after that 3-0 start, they lost 3 in a row, then came up big last week with a win. Geno Smith is Geno Smith, right? He's going to be inconsistent. He's going to have some good games, not so good games. How do you look at this matchup today? Bills on the road against the Seahawks, where the Bills are a 3-point road favorite.
Well, all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh. You know, when you're a road favorite, it feels like a trap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
they get loud in Seattle.
Yeah. And see, that's the other part of this I was going to get to. Seattle, especially when they have a decent team, and they've been good this year, especially considering expectations, I think, were relatively low. You got a new head coach. They're a 4-3 football team. I mean, the Bills have a high-scoring offense, but they hired a defensive-minded head coach, and at times that side of their field that side of their team has really shined. And Geno Smith has been good. He hasn't been great, but he absolutely has been serviceable. And if your defense plays well, if you can steal some early possessions, you could get the Bills on their heels a little bit. The environment, as I mentioned, one of the best crowd environments in the NFL when the 12s really get popping off. That could be a tough environment for the Bills to escape with their 6th win.
Later on, the Bears and the Commanders.
I love this matchup
You all of a sudden have Caleb Williams, who started rough. And again, the eyeball test on Caleb was this. He was rushing things a little bit too much, I thought, early on. He's beginning to slow things down. All of a sudden, that talent is getting better week after week. And, of course, we had Jaden Daniels get off to a historic start of his rookie season. Two teams right now very much in the playoff mix. Here's a key stat going in. Commanders a perfect 3-0 at home. Bears 0-2 on the road. How do you look at this matchup between the Commanders and Bears?
Well, we'll see if Jaden Daniels goes. He says he wants to play. He's also said it's not his decision whether he's going to be up for this game or not. Look, Williams, one of the things that is kind of not discussed because he's this USC kid was he grew up in Maryland and Washington, and it's kind of interesting that it's a little bit of a homecoming for him. I'm very curious if that has any impact on how hard he plays. I'm sure he's got a lot of tickets that he's had to buy for friends and family who want to come and see him play. Whoever starts for QB, or I should say whoever starts at QB for Washington against this Chicago secondary is going to have quite a matchup. Chicago on defense has played pretty decent football. So I'm very curious to see how Jaden Daniels reacts and responds to that, if it's him, and how he looks also. That's the key. If he looks sluggish out the gates, how early of a hook do you give Jaden Daniels?
Here's one of my favorite stats going into this game. The Bears have had back-to-back games with 5 touchdowns from their offense. The last time the Bears had consecutive games where their offense produced at least 5 touchdowns in back-to-back games, Eisenhower was running for re-election. 1956 was the last time the Bears had back-to-back games where their offense produced at least 5 touchdowns. All right, we're going to continue on. Second half will get underway. This is Red Zone Radio.
NFL Sundays live here.
Play action, rolling right, Rodgers, low throw, scooped up at the goal line by Gibson. He's got it. That's a Jet touchdown. Xavier Gibson, the low throw from Aaron Rodgers, took it right off the Turf Top.
It's your NFL Sunday. We're Fox Sports Radio.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-296-8708. 800-296-8708. Again, that's 800-296-8708. Coverage, deductibles, and claims may vary. For details, go to endurancewarranty.com.
Is the big time. You must have been busy, but The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Calvin Washington. Here we go. We're breaking this down.
Cowboys are bad. And the thing that's crazy is they've been blown out 4 straight. Remember, they had won 16 straight home games at one point. So the Packers come and blow them out in the playoffs, right? So you think, wow, Jordan Love, look at what he did. He destroyed the Cowboys or whatever. Then the only problem is the first 3 home games of this year, they've been blown out as well. Just like that. So I don't know if it was Jordan Love or just that it's the Cowboys and how bad they are. Of course, they gave Dak $60 million a year and all that. You know, I mean, there we go in the NFL. You know, they signed quarterbacks to all this money. They still got to sign other players. They gave CeeDee Lamb a big contract, and they have been god-awful. And Jerry came out and said that he thought that Mike McCarthy was drawing up bad plays. Is that the right terminology? He said designing bad plays. Is that like designing women? That was a TV show. Designing bad plays. And so here, Mike McCarthy, who doesn't have a contract for next year, who had won 13 games, 13 games 3 years in a row for the Cowboys, is without a contract. So he's playing for his contract, right? And it's not going well. Is it Mike McCarthy's going to be the fall guy? Jerry's never the fall guy, even though he runs the place like a mom and pop store. What do you see? Bad calls? I mean, bad play design? They don't know what they're doing. What is the issue here as a team that, granted, they don't always win the big games or win the postseason?
To get the rest of what The Odd Couple said, podcast it by searching Odd Couple. And as always, you can listen to The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Right now,
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
if I'm to listen and believe what the NFL says with their officials, you have an official who is looking at the line play, offensive, certainly defensive one. And then you have a referee who's looking at the quarterback. How does one of those two not see a lineman grabbing Sam Darnold's face mask, or just the body language of how he contorted back, and the official whose job is to watch the quarterback? How do you miss that? You can't review it, and it was an obvious face mask. Now, I wondered, since it was a scoring play, is there a loophole that it's a scoring play even though it's a safety? But from what I'm told, you can't review a scoring play like that because then you'd have to call a penalty, and you can't do that.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekdays 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
This is the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 10th inning, and Freddie Freeman. Oh my goodness! Oh my God! Freddie Freeman just hits a grand slam! Oh my goodness! The Dodgers win Game 1, 6-3. Oh my God! I love baseball. I love baseball. He's posing, rounding the bases. He knew it was gone when he hit it. Aaron Boone and the Yankees are stunned. The entire Dodgers team is at home plate. They are beating the crap out of Freeman standing on home plate. The first pitch from Nestor Cortez is deposited into the stands. I told you it's going to be a series we were going to talk about for 30 years. We are absolutely going to see that.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. It's amazing.
Amazing.
The things that we do for you on a daily.
Let's go, walk.
From the mornings.
It's Two Pros and a Cup of Joe, Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah. To the late nights.
They call me Moneyball Mallard. I'm in a different part of the galaxy.
Yeah. We never stop.
They know they can't stop it.
We're always on.
We do this on a daily basis.
And this amazing content is all for you on Fox Sports Radio. It's Fox Football Sunday.
Yes!
And we're marching you right down the field on Red Zone Radio.
To the 5, touchdown!
Back to Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger.
But it's 3rd and inches. The snap to Brissett. Handoff. Stevenson runs it left. Ramondre fights into the end zone. It's a touchdown.
Okay,
Patriots.
Little response there. That's good. It's a good way to start the second half.
That's 98.5, the Sports Hub and the Patriots Radio Network. And can you believe it? Patriots leading the Jets by a score of 14-13. Jets now have the ball 1st and 10 at the New England 20-yard line. This is Red Zone Radio. Steve Hartman, Rich Ornberger with you live from the TireRack.com studios. And if you missed it, Drake May went out of this game with a concussion. So Jacoby Brissett back in at quarterback for the Patriots. He's perfect 3 for 3, but the Jets fighting for their lives today, and the Patriots are not making it easy.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how in the NFL it doesn't
Hold on
matter.
a second here. Hold on. We have breaking news right now, courtesy of Monty Bolaños. Monty, what's going on?
From Fox Sports.
Yes. So Carl Ravitch of ESPN tweets, Dodgers manager Dave Roberts tells me Shohei Ohtani is in a great spot and will be playing in Game 3 tomorrow.
Okay, so he had a shoulder injury.
Yes.
That was clear on the field as he had a very awkward slide. I have no idea what he was doing with that slide. He had his left arm down, extended, and you could see it. I at first I thought it might be a wrist injury.
Yes.
But it turned out to be a shoulder jam. But yeah, the reports yesterday was it wasn't quite as bad as they thought. But huge news for the Dodgers if Shohei obviously back in the lineup.
Right.
My goodness, yeah, and let me tell you something. That is really important for not just the Dodgers but Major League Baseball, because think about this: the Japanese broadcast that's playing in overseas in Japan not only has the game on, they also have a Shohei camera. Like they have a camera that is dedicated just to showing Shohei Ohtani. So you have millions and millions and millions of television sets that are watching strictly for one player and one player alone in a country that all of a sudden has become of great interest to Major League Baseball in terms of viewership and advertising.
By the way, when Dave Roberts played, his mentor when he was a young player was a guy by the name of Maury Wills. And Maury, of course, one of the great base stealers in the history of baseball. And Dave Roberts knew how to slide. It's a lost art. I mean, when you see great sliding in baseball, it's effortless. Like you pop up, you come in feet first. And I'm watching Shohei with all the success he had stealing bases, second in the majors with 59 steals. I mean, he looks like he could get hurt any time. Now, I know he's a big guy, and maybe sliding's a little different when you're that tall, but I just wish these guys learn how to slide.
Yeah.
There is an art to it, and they used to teach it a lot, and apparently they don't do that anymore.
Well, it's funny on Red Zone Radio here talking
NFL.
I mean, same with quarterbacks.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, ever since
now Russell Wilson was good because he played baseball. Kyler Murray, another good slider because he played baseball.
Absolutely. And even Tom Brady at times he showed the goods. I mean, I think he had to relearn the action because he was mostly a pitcher when he played baseball. But it's amazing when you see certain quarterbacks how uncoordinated they look when they try to slide, because it is an athletic skill. It's something that doesn't come naturally. You are never going to use that in your life. You know what I mean? So it's not something, look, human beings, we walk and or we crawl and then we walk and we run and we jump. All those things you're going to need for your life at some point or another. You're never going to need a slide.
Yeah.
And so
well,
it's
even
a very
just going
awkward
to the
movement.
ground, as legendary as Gronk was, every time he went to the ground, it looked awkward.
It looked like watching a giant tree being fell in the woods by a lumberjack.
I swear his career might have been shortened a year or two because he didn't know how to go to the ground.
Yeah.
In a way that wasn't harmful to his actual body. Jets retake the lead on a field goal. So 16-14 now. Jets lead the Patriots. 8 minutes to go in the third quarter in that game. Falcons still lead the Buccaneers 24-17. Packs over the Jags 13-10. Texans now have a 17-10 lead over the Colts. Lions are just blowing the doors off the Titans 42-14. Browns have taken the lead over the Ravens. Wow. 13-10. And Bo's a little bit happier now as the Eagles lead that game at Cincinnati by a score of 17-10. All right, we got a lot more coming up here. Second half's underway around the National Football League. 8 games, full slate this week in the NFL. Keep it here. This is Red Zone Radio.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details.
Go! Check them out.
FS1.
Check them out.
FS1.
Yeah!
I'm going to prove all the doubters.
When Dan Patrick speaks, you better stop and listen.
Yeah!
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
Yeah, I don't know, and I said that before. If he's taking minutes away from somebody who's going to make the Lakers better at some point during the season, fine, I'll listen to that. This was fabricated. Yes, the draft was fabricated. We know all of that. People are just so up in arms because it's LeBron. That's it. If Vince Carter's son was going to play and said, hey, the team I'm on, I hope you draft him, and then they drafted him, and then he got to play opening night with his dad, you would not have anywhere near this vitriol that always comes with LeBron James. Yes, it was manufactured. Yes, it was fabricated. Yes, it's nepotism. We got all of that. Move on. He's not starting. He'll play a little bit, maybe, and then he'll go to the G League, which is where he belongs, and then J.J. Redick can get back to coaching basketball. This team, LeBron can get back to being one of the best players in the world, and AD, and whatever else happens here in a very stacked West. Yes,
if Bronny James is stealing time from a player, and Bronny James actually isn't good enough to play at this level, but he's still stealing time from another player, then that player's not very good to begin with. Because there's no way the Lakers are going to be like, you know what? Scotty Thompson, he might be sixth man of the year, but hold on a second. Let's get Bronny in instead and send Scotty Thompson over to Des Moines.
Made up name.
If he's stealing time from a player who's clearly more deserving, then that player's obviously not very good either.
If you want to know what Dan Patrick said next, just podcast it by searching The Dan Patrick Show. And as always, you can listen to Dan Patrick live weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific, on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Herd.
Wow, 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 wow.
with Colin Cowherd.
Take out Mahomes. Who would you want with a ball with a minute and a half left and one timeout to score a touchdown? Matt Stafford arguably is number 2. You think Sean McVay is unhappy with that quarterback after that performance? He still doesn't have his best interior offensive lineman. He still doesn't have his top tight end. He just got his receivers finally back, but it's still a makeshift offensive line. Take out Mahomes. Your best quarterback in the league is Matt Stafford. There's no real play to trade Matt Stafford unless you're bottoming out. And why would you? The Rams won 7 of 8 games last year, went to the playoffs, and were a play away from beating Detroit. I told you beginning of last year, this is not a rebuilding roster. You saw that defense last night. So the last 2 drafts, they've poured their draft picks at the top to defense.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Wow. Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Let's make the complicated simple.
Colin Cowherd.
Are you ready?
Colin Cowherd.
Well, you know how this works, right?
The most interesting man in sports.
We're confusing interesting with great.
Because when he's right, he's right.
A sports and entertainment prodigy.
And when he's wrong, he's also right.
New information equals new opinion.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Making your mornings right. Weekdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. FS1.
Call your friends and ask how they doing.
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details.
Boom. Trust your eyes.
FS1. And here's what you need to know.
The Lions have extended their lead over the Titans by starting the third quarter like this.
There goes Leaf left sideline to the 40, to the 30. He's gone, baby. He's gone. 10-5, end zone. Touchdown, Colin Freeman. What a thing of beauty.
The Ticket Lions radio network on the call. They're beating the Titans 42-14 early in the third. Halfway through the third, the Eagles are beating the Bengals 17-10, and the Browns are up on the Ravens 13-10. I'm sorry, Eagles are up on the Bengals 17-10, Browns up on the Ravens 13-10. The Dolphins are beating the Cardinals 20-10 halfway through the third. The Patriots losing at home to the Jets 16-14 with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. The Falcons are beating the Buccaneers early in the third 24-17. The Packers are up on the Jags 13-10, also early in the third. Just like the Texans, who are beating the Colts 17-10. And it's official, Jaden Daniels will start for the Commanders today as they take on the Bears.
This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. The play.
How about that second effort to get in the end zone?
The hit. Your team, your game.
You got the pads on there.
It's all broken down right here. Fox Sports Red Zone Radio is now live from the TireRack.com studios of Fox Sports Radio. Here's Steve Hartman and 6-year NFL veteran Rich Ornberg.
8 games, second half's underway. A busy day in the NFL, and this is Red Zone Radio, broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. TireRack.com. We're going to help get you there. An unmatched selection, fast free shipping, free road hazard protection, over 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. You just heard that 90-yard punt return for a touchdown for the Lions. Rich, up 42-14 now, 10.5 minutes ago in the third quarter. They only have 147 total yards in this game, but they have over 220 yards in returns in this game.
Yeah. If you look at the average starting field position for the Lions, because also they picked off Mason Rudolph in Tennessee territory, it has been, I'm guessing, close to or beyond the 50-yard mark. They may have average starting field position at this point in Titans territory. Bo Benson and I, we were joking at the break. They may as well say the Lions starting field position is in the Tennessee Titans end zone, because that's what it's felt like all game long.
Well, they have one kickoff return for 72 yards, 3 punt returns for 164 yards. That's an average of 55 yards a return. So the Titans special teams have been a disaster today and really undermine what has been a pretty effective game for Mason Rudolph, 16 of 28, 233 yards and a score. Did throw a couple of picks. Here's what I don't understand about the passer rating. I don't know how this works. So Jared Goff is 8 of 10 for 39 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He has a passer rating of 122.5. He's only averaging 3.9 yards an attempt. Shouldn't that count a little bit more? How does a guy go 8 for 10 for 39 yards and have a passer rating of 122?
Well, it takes
that seems weird.
I think it takes into account, it quantifies a lot of different things, including, efficiency, and I want to say score. It's been a long time since I looked at the equation that they come up with,
right.
and one of them, and I forget which one. It's either passer rating or QBR. One of them's proprietary, so we don't even exactly know.
Well,
how
apparently
they come up
yards
with the
per
number.
attempt is not. And by the way, Goff just got sacked, so they are back to 9 net yards passing in this game.
Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
And they're leading by a score of 42-14. So crazy day for the Lions. Not their normal way of scoring points. Usually they've been offensive juggernauts. Meanwhile, the Bengals have tied up the game against the Eagles. This game has the feel of one that's going to go right down to the finish line. This was a Chase Brown touchdown run. So the Bengals have now tied the game with the Eagles. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter in that game.
Yeah. You know what's amazing as we get to the middle point of the season here, and we're quickly approaching it by week's end. This is the, with a 16-game season, this would be the official middle point. You're looking at some of these games, and
we have a 17-game schedule.
No, I know. I'm saying the 8-game point used to be the midpoint of the
That
season.
is correct. Now it's week 9 is officially halfway because 17 games over 18 weeks.
Correct. So what I was saying, though, is you're starting to see teams, the cream rise to the top. You're starting to see the identity of certain teams emerge. You're starting to see teams that had maybe a slower start come out of it and start to look like themselves. The Falcons are a good example. The Saints, you've seen regression. You've seen teams have a hot start, and you've seen them sort of fall back to earth or plummet down, and that's been a couple of places around the league too. So it's very curious to see how teams start seasons, and then at the midpoint, when you do that midterm evaluation, man, it looks completely different now, for example, than it did back in week 2.
All right, I've asked this question several times, and I want to know, we're talking about the AFC, right? And I think we all agree the Ravens have been playing the best, although they're up against it today with the Browns. They're trying to get back in the lead against a very inspired Browns defense today. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. They haven't played that great, and yet they're a perfect 6-0. Do you believe in the Texans? I mean, if you had a choice right now between the Texans and the Bills, both sitting at 5-2, which way would you lean?
Bills. You have a more veteran coach. You have a more veteran quarterback. Now, that doesn't mean that the Texans can't all of a sudden become what they may be destined to become, which could be a consistent winner out of their division in the AFC South. They could end up becoming of the class of the AFC, like some of these other up-and-comers have. Look at the Detroit Lions. I mean, were we talking about them in such glowing light 3 years ago? No, but you let this thing bake, and all of a sudden they're one of the juggernauts out of their division, out of their conference. And so I'm not saying the Houston Texans can't get there, but if you're asking me right now, 7 games into the season, who I trust more, the Texans or the Bills, over the course of an entire season, it's going to be the Bills still.
Packers come in today 5-2. Jordan Love has played well, but has not played well today. This is another team, the Jaguars, whose season has quickly gotten away from them, and yet they're in this game. They trail the Packers by a score of 13-10. They get a win. Jags would go to 3-5. And yes, Chris.
Lions just punched the ball out from Calvin Ridley. So any guesses where they're starting? Rich?
Another turnover.
I'm going to say in Titans territory.
Yeah, thank you.
Tennessee 26.
It's just unbelievable.
Okay, so you have to bear with us with Chris. You have to understand when you have been covering a team, following a team your entire life, and understand this. My brother-in-law, whose name is Chris, and by the way, I got a family photo of my sister, my brother-in-law. They were all at the Vikings-Lions game in Minnesota. Rich, they've been doing that trip for almost 30 years.
Wow.
From Iowa, they go to Minnesota to see the annual Lions-Vikings game in Minnesota. And he has been, this is no Johnny-come-lately. I mean, this is like Chris, our Chris, my brother-in-law, lifelong Lions fan. So I can understand. I mean, it's something that you never dreamt. Look, I know Chiefs fans that not in a million years could they have ever envisioned that the Chiefs would become the juggernaut they are right now? Just like Patriot fans before Belichick and Brady. Who would ever dreamt the Patriots, who are a complete non-entity, would suddenly become a juggernaut in the NFL?
Bo and I were talking about this before the show, too, and, like, we're watching the Buccaneers on the streaming team in here. You want to talk the original winless 0-15 team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and nobody thinks about them like that anymore. Just times change for every team.
Let's clarify. They actually were 0-26 to start their career. They went 0-14 when it was a 14-game schedule, and then started the next year 0-12. And get this, 2 years later, they were in the NFC Championship game.
Wow.
John McKay was the original coach out of USC, took over the Tampa job, and 2 years after starting the franchise with 26 straight losses, they were in the NFC Championship game. So things can change. I mean, we see it in the NFL. We do this every year, Rich, where we talk about it before the season begins. Give us 3 or 4 teams that are going to be way worse than everyone expects, and 3 or 4 teams that are going to be much better. It happens every year.
Every single year.
Every single year.
And as we speak, Jared Goff to Raymond, 48-14. The Detroit Lions take the biggest lead of the weekend so far over the Tennessee Titans, who are visiting Detroit, and they're going to go home 1-6. There's absolutely no doubt about that now with 6 minutes left in the third quarter to go. Yeah, look, I mean, there are certain teams who start a season and you don't know who they are, and they prove to you that whatever you saw a season ago, either good or bad, wasn't who they're going to be this year. And then there are teams like the Patriots when Bill Belichick was leading them, now the Detroit Lions with Dan Campbell, the Baltimore Ravens for years with John Harbaugh, the Pittsburgh Steelers for years now with Mike Tomlin. You just know who these teams are going to be. They are who they are. Their identity is toughness or physicality, or they're great game planners, or they're offensively they're going to be a juggernaut, whether it be in the passing space or the run game. Like, there's just an ethos and an identity to these teams every single year, year after year after year, and that's what every single NFL franchise is chasing, and it's very, very hard to do.
If you are all in with your fantasy football on Ravens players, you've had a good season so far. Today has really been sort of strange with the Ravens. They have a 17-13 lead inside 5 minutes to go in the third quarter on the road against the Browns. Lamar Jackson's numbers aren't bad. 14 of 20, 157 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. But what's interesting about this game is Derrick Henry is averaging 7 yards a carry, but he only has 7 carries. In fact, they've only run 32 offensive plays in this game. So we'll see. I mean, there's still plenty of time, especially when you have a Ravens team that is so explosive. They could just, have a huge fourth quarter, and, at the end of the game, you start seeing all those big numbers. But at least so far, Jameis Winston has a passer rating of nearly 100. Is that an upgrade at quarterback over Deshaun Watson? Anything was an upgrade over Deshaun Watson. So Winston has played okay for them. Nick Chubb has outgained Derrick Henry in this game. So this score is not a deception. It has been absolutely even today between the high-flying Ravens and the lowly Cleveland Browns.
Well, here's the thing about the Browns, and this is going to be the thing that every team's going to try to do to the Ravens over the course of the NFL season. You got to find a way to stop the run game. If you can find a way to slow down what they want to do on the ground, or at very least bend but don't break, if you want to give up yards in the middle of the field, But then when it comes to getting toward the end zone or the low red zone, having them kick field goals instead of score touchdowns, well, that'll work. But Derrick Henry, he's rushed the ball 7 times for 50 yards. Lamar Jackson, he's rushed the ball 3 times for 20 yards. I mean, they're typically piling up incredible rushing yardage, and it feels like they've been hemmed in enough that they've got to go to the air. And so it's unique. It's unique to see Lamar Jackson throwing the football more than Ravens' total attempts, but they've had to go to the air more against this against this Cleveland defense, who are selling out to stop the run today.
Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith, 45-yard touchdown. Eagles take the 24-17 lead on the road against the Bengals, against Cincinnati, looking for their first home win of the season. Inside 3 minutes to go, but that's what the Eagles fans have been waiting for. And Devontae Smith on the receiving end, 45-yard touchdown pass from Jalen Hurts. All right, we're motoring through the third quarters, heading toward those fourth quarters. Which games are going to go down the wire? Well, if you keep it here, you'll hear all the action. You'll hear it from us. We'll give you everything you need to know. This is Red Zone Radio.
Football is for the weekends. And the reactions are for Monday. Listen to the best Break It Down. 2 Pros and a Cup of Joe with Jonas Knox and NFL veterans LeVar Arrington and Brady Quinn, Dan Patrick, and Colin Cowherd. The best reactions on a Monday are right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, it's Jonas Knox. You know our trusted partner, TireRack.com, for their fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and their great selection of the best tires, like the highly consumer-rated Goodyear Assurance Weather Ready. But did you know they sell other automotive products, wheels, brakes, and suspension, just to name a few? Everything you need to elevate your drive. Go to TireRack.com/sports. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere, for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit Philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's PHILO.tv.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text PREP to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text PREP to 42424. That's PREP to 42424.
Two pros and a cup of Joe.
The best of the best.
Okay. This is what mornings sound like.
This is the most intriguing content that I've been a part of.
LeVar Arrington.
I was talking so much S that game.
Brady Quinn.
I'll give you the best handoffs you've ever seen.
Cool. And Jonas Knox.
Great heart, generous, caring, perfect.
This is what mornings can do.
That's like an alarm clock.
It's Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. Weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
This is
The Herd. When Colin Cowherd drops the info, The Herd, you need to listen.
All right, so let's talk about Sam Darnold. I mean, his passer rating was 128.8, actually slightly ahead of Matt Stafford, which is why you got to watch the games. But we've seen the last 2 weeks. Sam Darnold was good against Jared Goff. Goff was better. Sam Darnold was good against Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford was better, and the Vikings went 0-2. So Sam Darnold's going to have a trademark. He's strong, coachable, athletic, playing well, good arm, and he's gotten some of the reckless out of his game. He's matured. But Kevin O'Connell's an offensive head coach, and offensive coaches in this league move off good. Andy Reid moved off Pro Bowler Alex Smith. McVay moved off Super Bowl quarterback Jared Goff. Kyle Shanahan's moved off guys that got him to a Super Bowl. Now, defensive coaches, it's different. Pete Carroll, hey, Geno Smith is good enough. Remember when Ron Rivera was like, hey, Sam Howell can win us games? And I went on the air and I'm like, defensive coach, come on, wake up. Dennis Allen, Derek Carr. Now, offensive coaches, and we've been on this for years, have much more urgency at quarterback. It's their side of the ball. They understand how much they can affect it. Defensive coaches, they love a run game, conservative, play not to lose. So Kevin O'Connell, he already moved off Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins is going to get Hall of Fame votes. You see Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. And Kevin O'Connell, he drafted J.J. McCarthy, who looked very good in the preseason. So Sam Darnold's good.
If you're eager to find out what Colin said next, just podcast it by searching The Herd. And as always, you can listen live to Colin Cowherd, weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, on Fox Sports Radio. He's Steve Covino.
I'm slightly vato.
He's Rich Davis.
I may jump through this glass window in the studio.
And they do it all.
Let's talk about all of it.
Radio for the people.
I like that.
Pretty solid.
Your afternoon pick-me-up.
Covino and Rich. All right.
Ooh, yeah.
It's Covino and Rich.
No woman's ever told you you're Mariano Rivera in the bedroom. Wait a second.
Weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is a friendly reminder to step your listening game up.
Here we go. Spoiler alert.
You want NFL? Here.
He is in the Hall of Fame of business in the NFL.
The Steelers are an Amish country. And they run their team like they're Amish.
Need some NBA? Got it.
I covered the league since 1987.
Wow. MLB? Sure. Why not?
The best Major League Baseball talent of my life.
That's not close. It's Shohei Ohtani.
We're Fox Sports Radio, the premier sports lineup in the nation.
Let's finish. Oh!
You're listening to Red Zone Radio.
Back to the end zone.
We're taking you across the NFL.
To the end zone. Touchdown.
And into the red zone. Once again, here's Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger.
Shotgun. Hurts. Looks. He is rolling. He's looking. He's pumping. He is going deep downfield. And it is caught. Devontae Smith. Touchdown. The bomb.
That's 94 WIP Eagles Radio Network. They're now going into the fourth quarter, and the Eagles lead on the road against the Bengals by a score of 24-17. Red Zone Radio here. Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger. We are live from the TireRack.com studios. All right, quick update on the 8 games going on right now. Ravens and the Browns have retaken the lead. Wow, 20-17. Browns over the Ravens, just heading to the end of the third quarter there. Lions 49-14 over the Titans. The Dolphins are all of a sudden in a dogfight. They lead the Cardinals 20-18. Heading to the fourth there. Jets trying to hang on, leading the Pats 16-14. Started the fourth quarter there. Falcons over the Buccaneers 31-17. By the way, Kirk Cousins, 4 touchdown passes in this game. How about this? The Jaguars have taken the lead over the Packers 17-13 a minute ago in the third. and the Texans lead the Colts 2 minutes to go in the third by a score of 20-13. And now the Packers have retaken the lead. Josh Jacobs just ran 36 yards for a touchdown. So the Packers back and forth in this game against the Jags.
Yeah, I understand a lot of people look at the Jaguars and they say, hey, they need to fire Doug Peterson. Trevor Lawrence, they paid him all that money. They're no good. I still haven't given up hope on the Jaguars. And I said this a couple of weeks ago. It just seems like one of those teams who they had to figure it out this season. I'm not exactly sure why, but it really did feel like there was something very different about this team to start. Last year, it felt like they had a long way to go. This year, to start, it felt like maybe they would have a hotter start. They had a good draft. They didn't make any splashy free agent trades or free agent signings, but there was just something missing. And I don't know. This would be a huge win if they get it against Green Bay, because that's a quality football team. And Trevor Lawrence, outside of one interception thrown so far today, he's looked pretty good.
By the way, if looks could kill, Greg Zuerlein just hooked a 44-yard field goal attempt and missed. So the Jets still lead the Patriots 16-14, and they showed a shot of Aaron Rodgers after Zuerlein missed the field goal. Woof.
Yeah.
Woof.
Aaron Rodgers.
He's missed an extra point. Now he's missed a field goal in this game, and the Jets, desperate for a win, are barely hanging on as the Pats will take over, trailing in this game 16-14. Again, no Drake May. He's out of this game with a concussion, so Jacoby Brissett in at quarterback there. How about this Dolphins-Cardinals game? Early on, it looked like it was going to be all Dolphins, and now all of a sudden the Dolphins lead down to 2018. Dolphins are driving, though. 13 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They have a 3rd and 3 at the Arizona 6-yard line, and it's been a pretty good day coming back for Tua Tagovailoa, 26 of 34, 221 yards a score, and no picks. Tyreek Hill, we haven't seen anything of recently, 6 catches for 72 yards. But Kyler Murray playing well in this game, Rich, 16 of 25, 192 yards, 2 touchdowns. And so he's keeping them in this game.
Yeah, and he's doing it all with his arms. He's thrown those touchdowns to Wilson and Harrison. Trey McBride having a big game from the tight end position. I mean, look, the Cardinals on offense, they've got 2 real playmakers, and that's discluding their quarterback. And then Connor, at times, can be a real capable, stable running back out of the backfield. So I like the Cardinals' offense defensively. I mean, look, Jonathan Gannon, before he took the head coaching job in Arizona, was one of the more brilliant defensive minds in the NFL. He led that Philadelphia Eagles team, or helped lead that Philadelphia Eagles team all the way to the Super Bowl. And it was really on the backs of their defense through the majority of that season, keeping them in close games, helping even on days, and there were plenty of them, where the Eagles offense was not putting out the sort of output that you would hope for with so many high-flying weapons. Their defense was sensational. They'd get a lot of quarterback pressures and hits and sacks, and they were confusing to prepare for. And that's carried over with this Cardinals team. I mentioned it earlier in the show. I'm a believer in the Cardinals. That's a team that it feels like they're building the right way. Gannon made believers out of them last year, even though they were one of the worst teams record-wise in the NFL. Nobody wanted to face them. And if they get this win on the road against a healthy Tua Tagovailoa, granted, it's his first game back, they get to an even record on the season, and now all of a sudden are serious contenders in the NFC West.
Raheem Mostert has just scored on the ground, his second rushing touchdown of the day, increasing the Dolphins' lead now to 27-18 over the Cardinals. 12 minutes to go there. Meanwhile, the Jets just got called for roughing the quarterback. I mean, this is just dumb football.
Ooh.
You take a couple of forearms to the face of Jacoby Brissett, and all of a sudden now you've got the Patriots on the move. They're in Jets territory right now, and the Jets barely leading this game by a score of 16-14. I mean, we were almost joking about this before the game. Like, what if the Jets were actually to lose today? Like, lose to a Patriots team coming in on a 6-game losing streak with no offense, and Drake May goes out of the game. And here we are with 12 minutes to go. Patriots driving to, at very least, maybe get in field goal position to take the lead.
Well, look, I mean, we talked about it last week. What do the Jets need to start doing better job of? Running the football. Well, Breece Hall's had a decent game.
Yep.
You know, he's carrying the football. His longest rush was 16 yards. He's got 57 yards. He's averaging over 5 yards a carry. That's what you want out of him. Now his understudy Allen has had a rougher day at the office. He's under 3 yards per carry, and he's carried 10 times, so he's not nearly as effective as Hall. Rodgers has had a decent day passing
Where
the
is
football.
Devontae Adams? 2 catches, 22 yards. I mean, why aren't they throwing the ball to Devontae Adams?
I was about to say, but the guy that they just spent some draft capital for has been he's MIA. And maybe it's helping. Some of this passing game elsewhere. Shutting down Devontae Adams is going to open up other places to go with the football. But my goodness, I mean, you got to find a way to get him involved.
Absolutely. I mean, it just seems unreal that with all the noise and, they had the interview with Aaron Rodgers or Devontae Adams comes into the picture like best friends and everything else. Why isn't he being targeted more? I mean, Wilson has 88 yards receiving in this game, but there's a reason you brought in Devontae Adams, not to be just a decoy. He's got to be productive and actually get his hands on the ball. All right, Eagles added a field goal, so they are now leading the Bengals by a score of 21-17. And, this would be a huge win for the Eagles on the road against a Bengals team desperate to just find a way to win a home game this year. They came in 0-3. Now they're down 10 with 13 minutes to go. But if the Eagles win this game, all of a sudden you're sitting at 5-2.
Yep, and it doesn't really matter, like we said with the Chiefs, how you get your wins as long as you're getting them.
Yeah.
And so hats off to Nick Sirianni. I mean, weeks ago, was there a hotter seat in the NFL? I guess you could argue Robert Saleh, although that kind of snuck up on a lot of people. Nick Sirianni, after a herky-jerky start, if he gets this win, that's a big win. That's a real football team you're beating because that is a real quarterback you're facing. That would be an enormous, a lifeline, really, a life preserver for Nick Sirianni and a huge feather in the cap for the Eagles, who came off of that emotional victory over the Giants in Saquon Barkley facing his old team for the first time. Getting a win on the road would be enormous.
And we have an interception by the Eagles right now on a tip play. So the Eagles with a 10-point lead, and they get the ball back. Great defensive play right there. Ball knocked away, intended for Jamar Chase. And on the deflection, the Eagles get the interception. All right, let's find out what is trending right now. A very, very busy Sunday in the NFL. Here's Monsi. Hello, Monsi.
Hello, hi. So I didn't see it, but apparently Stephon Diggs went down with a non-contact leg injury. He did walk away. I just looked at the video. He did walk away. So right now he is out for the Texans. I'll give you guys an update once I get one, but it did seem like a non-contact leg injury. The Texans are beating the Colts at home 20-13, and they're about to start the fourth quarter. All of these games are pretty much in the fourth quarter. Let me confirm that. Yes, they all are officially in the fourth. The Packers are beating the Jags 20-17. Jordan Love, 14 of 22, 196 yards. I don't think he has thrown a single touchdown pass. He does have a pick, though. But again, the Packers are winning. The Buccaneers are losing at home to the Falcons 31-19. The Jets holding on to a lead over the Patriots 16-14, but the Patriots are knocking on the door to score its first and goal at the Jets' 3-yard line. The Dolphins are beating the Cardinals 27-18. Raheem Mostert with his second touchdown of the day. The Lions just can't stop scoring. They just can't. It's 52-14 against the Titans. Unreal, really. Jahmyr Gibbs, 11 carries, 127 yards, and 1 touchdown. Calvin Ridley for the Titans, 9 catches, 143 yards. The Browns are beating the Ravens 20-17. Ravens do have the ball at Cleveland's 32-yard line. And the Eagles have extended their lead over the Bengals 27-17. They just got going in the fourth quarter as well. It is official that you will see today the number 1 and the number 2 pick going at it, because Jaden Daniels will be starting for the Commanders despite that rib injury as they take on Caleb Williams and the Bears. And in college football, ESPN reports that Rice has fired their head coach Mike Bloomgren. They are 2-6 this year. He's been there 7 years. They went to consecutive bowl games in 2022 and 2023, but they have fired their head coach, Rice.
Yeah, what have you done for me lately?
What have you done for me lately? That's
so
exactly
last 2
it.
years, Rice, not exactly a bowl regular, and this year 2-6, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
We need to make a change. All right, Monty, thank you very much.
Jace.
I'm watching the Patriots right now.
Jace.
They were down at the 2-yard line, 2nd and 2, and Jacoby Brissett fumbled the ball, recovered his own fumble. Now on 3rd down, he throws to the end zone, and it is incomplete. No flags on the play. So the Patriots have a 4th and goal at the Jets' 5-yard line. Field goal team is coming on to give the Patriots a lead. Problem in this game really has been Zerline. He has been atrocious.
You know what other kicker's been a problem today? Justin Tucker just missed a
unbelievable.
He has suddenly gone from surefire first ballot Hall of Famer to one of the most ineffective field goal kickers in the league this year. Like, I don't know what has happened to Justin Tucker. Perennial Pro Bowler, Hall of Famer, and all of a sudden he has become one of the least accurate field goal kickers. Field goal is good, so New England now, Rich, leads the Jets by a score of 17-16, 7.5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
Man.
So you have them winning, and the Browns are beating the Ravens 20-17. Any week in the NFL, right, folks?
It's tough in them streets. That's the deal.
Well, you talked about road favorites. Ravens, big road favorite. Jets, big road favorite. Yeah, be careful with those road favorites in the NFL.
We were just talking about it with the Bills going on the road to Seattle. They're 3-point favorites heading into this afternoon kick. Yeah, it's dicey times when all of a sudden you get that minus next to the point spread and you're on the road, because we know how difficult it is to be a road team in the NFL.
Let me ask you this quickly. As someone that follows the gambling industry as closely as you do, lives and breathes it.
That's right.
But if you were to only place bets on home dogs, and that's the only bets you would ever make is taking the points for home dogs, what kind of batting average would you have?
Well,
I got to believe it'd be over 50%.
You would think at this point this season, or historically, I'd have to look at the numbers, but man, these guys, these handicappers in Vegas,
I know they're good. I know they're good.
They're good. And so
I know in primetime games it was unreal at the percentage of home dogs that would not only cover on primetime games, but actually win outright.
There was a run there, but anytime you start settling your money on just one side, one stat, you're eventually the house will win. It's just they're too good at this. So yeah, you may be able to mine a vein for a little while, but only time. That's all it takes, because eventually it swings in the opposite. Now, don't get me wrong. If you want to add in, complications like, okay, it's a road dog on prime time, and the quarterback's a rookie, for the home team. Like, all of a sudden you start adding further complications, and then maybe have an equation that can get into a winning percentage north of 60, nearing 70%. But to find those and then to be patient enough to wait for those opportunities, there's very few people who are willing to do that.
Best passing day of the day, Kirk Cousins, 21-27, 255 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks in this game against the Buccaneers. Buccaneers did get a safety, still trailed the Falcons by a score of 31-19. Baker Mayfield matching Cousins for most of the games, but then threw a couple of picks. Game not over yet, still 10 minutes to go, and the Buccaneers have the ball. But when you look at Kyle Pitts, 4 catches, 91 yards, and 2 scores. Mooney, 5 catches, 92 yards, and a score. Bijan Robinson, 41 yards on the ground, 37 receiving, and a score. I wasn't so sure about Kirk Cousins. We mentioned it earlier. He could be the difference. This would be a win today for the Falcons that would give them first place in the NFC South. And as long as Kirk Cousins is out there, the Falcons are very much, I think, in control of this division.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins entered this division, and it sort of felt like, well, wow, all of a sudden we're going to have a real showdown in the NFC South between himself and Baker Mayfield. And I think the Falcons looked better. I really do. Now, it didn't look that way out the gates. It took them a little. It took them a second to get the pieces to meld a little bit. But as we're hitting the middle point of the season, it's pretty inarguable that the Falcons look the most consistent. We'll see how it bears out. Obviously, injuries play an enormous role. It's a war of attrition down the second half of the season when the weather gets colder, and that'll be more of a problem on the road for the Falcons. But yeah, Kirk Cousins, Captain Kirk, he was worth every dollar so far.
All right, the Arizona Cardinals just got back into it. They have scored a touchdown and now trailed the Dolphins by a score of 27-25. That score was a 2-yard run by James Conner. So just like that, the Cardinals have cut the lead back to 2. Still 9 minutes to go in that game. The Eagles are putting this game away, Bo. What's happening right now? Looks like the Eagles are ready to score again.
Yeah, big Saquon run down to about the 1, it looks like. So
all right, so the Eagles already up 10 in this game, and wow, the Bengals are beginning to show a little life here. But after if they lose this game at home with 0-4 at home,
Can I just point something out about the Cardinals real quick that I think is being forgotten?
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty Black Ops 6 came out on Thursday night, and Kyler Murray's having the game of his life today. So
wow,
maybe he's found a way to balance the two together.
He's got the double XP going.
Are they still timing him on how much time he spends studying the game plan?
I don't know, but he did turn that into like an endorsement deal with Call of Duty this year. There's commercials that feature him and another actor, so good for him.
Touchdown, Jalen Hurts has gotten into the end zone, and now it's just a blowout. We're inside 5 minutes to go, and the Eagles are an extra point away of doubling up on the Bengals, 33-17, waiting on that extra point. So this is one of the more impressive. Is this, Bo, what do you think? Most impressive Eagle win of the year?
Yeah, you'd have to say so. I think so. Back-to-back weeks where they win by double digits would be that's a new record almost.
So you wanted to fire Nick Sirianni a couple weeks ago.
Wanted is still past tense. I would say I want to.
Still want to get rid of Nick Sirianni.
Not a fan.
34-17 Eagles all over the Bengals. Wow.
Yeah, and they're doing it the right way. They're featuring some of their key pieces around the offense. Obviously, you got to feed Jamar Chase, and they have. He's been targeted. I'm going to the Cincinnati Bengals. When you're looking at Devontae Smith on the Eagles side, you got to feed that guy and A.J. Brown now that they're both back healthy. And they've done that. Combined between the two of them, 13 targets. They've caught the majority of them. Between the two of them, over 160 yards and a touchdown. When Jalen Hurts is getting the ball to his main receivers, the good things are going to happen. And then, as you mentioned, Bo, Saquon Barkley, any game he's rushing for over 100, that's exactly the formula for success. Win on the ground, supplement the pass, target your stars, and Jalen Hurts is going to make it happen for you. He's a great game manager, and I don't want to say that as an insult because we were just complimenting Kirk Cousins. I'm going to do the same thing for Jalen Hurts. He's a great game manager. So when you have a game that needs to be managed, you have a great running back, let him eat, get your stars and your playmakers the football, get it into their hands quickly, let them catch and run. It's a recipe for success that the Eagles need to follow for the rest of the season.
All right, Jets trailing the Patriots 17-16, inside 5 minutes to go, but the Jets are on the move right now, well into Patriots territory. A couple of nice passes from Aaron Rodgers. So somehow, some way, Jets trying to salvage a win against the New England Patriots. We continue on. Exciting finishes around the corner. We'll have all the latest for you. This is Red Zone Radio.
Our thanks to Rapid Radio, the official communication device of Fox Sports Radio. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies.
Please say over when you finish talking. Over.
They help us communicate from all across the nation.
Rapid Radio, over.
The official communication device of Fox Sports Radio.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Hey, guys.
Jason Smith and Mike Harmon are dropping knowledge like this.
Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Gibby, meet Freddie. Game 1 of the World Series.
Joe Davis on Fox. Oh, that's a great call. I said Dodgers. Obviously, that was Fox TV.
Yeah, he
Joe
totally
Davis.
turned back the clock.
Gibby meet Freddie. I mean, that's an unreal call. That's an unreal call. I mean, you're talking about that's the third play from tonight's game that has reminded you of incredibly famous plays from playoff games in the history of baseball. Because you go back one play before, Alex Verdugo going into the stands to get that fly ball from Ohtani was like Jeter going in the stands against the Red Sox. All right, it was crazy. And then you had the Jeffrey Mayer, Steve Bartman play. The guy grabs the ball. It looks like it's going off the wall. They have to look at it in the 8th inning. But their Yankees are kept off the scoreboard. In the old days, it would have been a home run, but they're able to review it. I mean, you had Jeffrey Mayer, Steve Bartman, Kirk Gibson, and Derek Jeter all in one day. I mean, I can just have enough with just this game. Well, I will say this. I think all the ballots are coming back. Hey, great season for Ohtani. First 50-50 guy in the history of the game. Freddie Freeman's now the new MVP.
Jason, if this holds up, he's never buying a beer again.
It doesn't matter what happens after. You kidding to win game 1 like that?
No, if they lose the series, no.
Oh, my God. I mean, but look, let's just, for a second off of this play.
To get the rest of what Jason Smith and Mike Harmon said, podcast it by searching The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. And as always, you can hear The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Right now,
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick. If I'm to listen and believe what the NFL says with their officials, you have an official who is looking at the line play, offensive, certainly defensive line. And then you have a referee who's looking at the quarterback. How does one of those two not see a lineman grabbing Sam Darnold's face mask, or just the body language of how he contorted back, and the official whose job is to watch the quarterback? How do you miss that? You can't review it, and it was an obvious face mask. Now, I wondered, since it was a scoring play, is there a loophole that it's a scoring play even though it's a safety? But from what I'm told, you can't review a scoring play like that because then you'd have to call a penalty, and you can't do that.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekdays 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 10th inning, and Freddie Freeman. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. Freddie Freeman just hits a grand slam. Oh, my goodness. The Dodgers win game 1, 6-3. Oh, my God. I love baseball. I love baseball. He's posing, rounding the bases. He knew it was gone when he hit it. Aaron Boone and the Yankees are stunned. The entire Dodgers team is at home plate. They are beating the crap out of Freeman standing on home plate. The first pitch from Nestor Cortez is deposited into the stands. I told you it's going to be a series we're going to talk about for 30 years. We are absolutely going to see that.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon.
Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific
on Fox Sports Radio.
I'm going to confess right now.
Why does our lineup work?
I think the contrast of personalities.
Here's a little secret.
I can't even sugarcoat.
We have the best in the business.
They pimp slapped him.
24/7, 365.
There's a ton going on in sports.
Wherever, whenever, quality.
For sure. Turn the radio up for that sweet sound.
It's how we do sports.
Hey, we're talking about sports.
I get paid to yell and call for people to get fired.
This is Fox Sports Radio, the premier sports lineup in the nation. It's Fox Football Sunday.
Yes!
And we're marching you right down the field on Red Zone Radio.
To the 5, touchdown!
with Steve Hartman and Rich Ornberger.
Second and goal on the 2. 3 tight ends, 1 back. Murray in the pistol takes the snap and hands it off. Connor running left, and Connor's in for the touchdown. He got hit at the 2, but bounced right off a defender. And the Cardinals make it 27-24 with 8:47 to go in the fourth quarter.
That's Arizona Sports 98.7 FM. Cardinals get the extra point. They trail the Dolphins 27-25. We are inside 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter of that game. Once again, this is Red Zone Radio. Steve Hartman, Rich Ornberger with you. We are live from the TireRack.com studios. The Jets have taken the lead against the Patriots. I believe they went for 2 and did not get it. So they lead 22-17, and I believe the Jets just got the ball back. So Jets trying to hang on in this game inside 3 minutes to go. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers are not dead here, Rich. They have gotten another touchdown, so they trail the Falcons 31-26. Baker Mayfield's third touchdown pass of this game. And remember, his top 2 receivers are out of this game, so Otten gets another touchdown, and the Falcons now have the ball with 4.5 minutes to go. So it looks like we're going to get a few good finishes. The one game that is over is the Eagles.
Yep.
Blowing out the Bengals. With the 2-minute warning right now, and a little soul-searching for the Bengals right now, I'd imagine, after their 4th straight home loss of the season.
Yeah, a little bit of what the Dallas Cowboys are going through. It's been a house of horrors playing in front of their home fans for both of these franchises this season, and both of them with highly paid, talented quarterbacks, and so it's a little bit of a head-scratcher. Burrow in Cincinnati, Dak Prescott in Dallas. But, yeah, getting blown out 34-17, not only getting blown out, but also by the Eagles. At this point in the season, obviously they're dangerous, and they've gotten healthier, and so they're even more so than they were to start the season. But it feels like a worse loss than it probably is. If I were to guess, I think the Eagles are going to finish the season pretty strong here based on the momentum shift we've seen. But right now, this one stings a little bit more because it drops your record to 3-5. And also, again, Philadelphia right now doesn't look like much of a juggernaut out of the NFC, but you wait a little bit longer as we get closer and closer to the Christmas holidays. I think the Eagles are going to start becoming what they're supposed to look like.
Yeah, and by the way, in that game, Saquon Barkley, over 100 yards, 108 yards rushing, but it's Jalen Hurts with the 3 rushing touchdowns. Meanwhile, Jonathan Taylor has just scored to cut that Texans lead over the Colts at 23-20. Still plenty of time left, 8.5 minutes to go. Jonathan Taylor over 100 yards, 105 yards rushing, and that touchdown. Chris, what do you got for us?
You might want to know who's looking for some soul searching right now. 7 minutes ago, Jacksonville down 10 points as, looked like they got off the schneid a little bit. It was the Patriots last week, but now it's even with Jordan Love out, this is a team that does not look like they're getting anything much going here. Trevor Lawrence 15-24 and a touchdown and an interception on this day, and I cannot believe this team is as miserable as is. I know they have injuries to a lot of their running backs, and they're starting Tank Bigsby, but this is not.
All right.
This is good.
I have a question. Why is Malik Willis in the game?
Jordan Love got hurt and exited the game.
Do we have an update on that injury? That would be rather big.
We will effort to get that right now.
Meanwhile, the big difference for the Packers this year, Rich, no doubt, Josh Jacobs, 21 carries, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So when you have a premier running back, which when healthy, Josh Jacobs is a big difference in their offense. But, yeah, Malik Willis, 3 of 4 passing, has a touchdown pass, 25 yards on the ground. So we'll try to get an update on that Jordan Love injury.
Official status on the Jordan Love injury is groin with a questionable to return.
Okay. Well, right now they have a 10-point lead. They're looking good. Browns have just added a field goal, Rich. They have upped their lead over the Ravens, 23-17. This is the hottest team in the league, the Ravens, on the road against the 1-6 Browns, and the Browns have a 6-point lead inside 5 minutes to go.
Just remarkable, isn't it? You know, for all the nice things you want to say about the Ravens, and there's plenty of nice things you can say about them, this division is so difficult to win in consistently. You know, you're going against a Browns team who's well coached with Stefanski. You're going against, you know, a potential great in his own right, Joe Burrow. I mean, they're really struggling this season, the Cincinnati Bengals, in terms of the record, but Burrow is dangerous every single time you face him. And then, oh, by the way, you know, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who consistently provide winning season after winning season. So it's a little bit of murderer's row for the Baltimore Ravens year after year. The Browns, look, it feels like a game they shouldn't be in, but at the same token, doesn't it feel like an albatross has been lifted off of their necks with Deshaun Watson out of the starting lineup?
Look at Jameis Winston, 21 of 32, 260 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks. That's better than anything Deshaun Watson has done. By the way, the Ravens just got a 22-yard run from their quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Now he's just running the ball himself. It's like, all right, we're down 6. We're inside 4 minutes to go, and I'm just going to take the ball right now. And so Lamar Jackson with his legs right now trying to lead this comeback against the Browns, and that is almost intercepted. Wow, almost intercepted by the Browns, incomplete.
Well, the problem is when time gets short and you start to need chunk plays, right? Because you're running low on time, you'll start dialing up more vertical routes. And Lamar Jackson just saw it in consecutive plays.
They call that a complete pass. I thought that was an incomplete pass. And the Ravens are all of a sudden in Browns territory. And now they got the ball inside the 25 down to the 24-yard line, short pass to Mark Andrews there. So that was an incredible catch. It looked like it was almost intercepted by the Browns. Turned out to be a reception, and the Ravens now put themselves in scoring position. 3 minutes to go in this game.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson, again, he's going to try to beat you with his legs first when you start running off defenders with those deep routes. So key on that. His rushing stats are about to explode here.
All right. So once again, they have a 2nd and 1 for the Ravens right now. We're going to keep you updated on this game and other exciting finishes around the NFL. This is Red Zone Radio.
We are Fox.
Every 4 years, the world watches. Every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. member FDIC.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken.
Wow.
You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app.
I like the morning show.
They're really funny in the morning.
This is the show that has 2 pros and a cup of Joe.
Who is Joe?
LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox.
Tua should be back here for the Miami Dolphins this weekend. So congratulations. Tua will be back. Now, I did see that he's got on what is being referred to as the safest helmet option among quarterbacks that he will be wearing. It's no Guardian cap, but he does have a safe helmet, or at least a safer helmet, that he will be wearing on Sunday.
I don't think a Guardian hat or any other helmet or anything will alleviate what people are thinking and feeling about Tua going out there. So it just is what it is, right?
You know what's hard for me to understand, LeVar, is like the technology with the helmets has supposedly gotten better, and players supposedly, it's the safest they've ever been. And I feel like, we're still dealing with more concussions. We're like the same.
There's been a lot of them.
Well, I'd love to see the reduction of the numbers whenever they started tabulating all our keeping track. I'd love to see what those numbers look like. Now, again, many people would say 20 years ago, even when they did diagnose a concussion, there was probably a bunch that were going undiagnosed. So
it is interesting, though, because if you look at least two of Tua's concussions are back of his head hitting the turf. Like, it wasn't a direct shot. It was the back of his head.
And that's why I just don't think there's any way out of it. You know what I mean? Like, the concussions I sustained were like, they just, you can't, it is what it is. Like, I caught a knee to the head. Like, doesn't matter. Neck, helmet, doesn't matter. If you get hit the right way, and it can happen.
To get the rest of LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox, podcast by searching Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. Listen to Two Pros and a Cup of Joe weekdays from 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
This is The Herd.
Wow, 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 wow.
With Colin Cowherd.
Take out Mahomes, who would you want with a ball with a minute and a half left and one timeout to score a touchdown? Matt Stafford arguably is number 2. You think Sean McVay is unhappy with that quarterback after that performance? He still doesn't have his best interior offensive lineman. He still doesn't have his top tight end. He just got his receivers finally back, but it's still a makeshift offensive line. Take out Mahomes, your best quarterback in the league is Matt Stafford. There's no real play to trade Matt Stafford unless you're bottoming out. And why would you? The Rams won 7 of 8 games last year, went to the playoffs, and were a play away from beating Detroit. I told you beginning of last year, this is not a rebuilding roster. You saw that defense last night. So the last 2 drafts, they've poured their draft picks at the top to defense.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Wow.
Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Ben Maller.
The General of Degenerates has arrived.
Heard of him?
I've worked with Ben for a long time, and he has all these wild takes and flies off the handle, and, I got to kind of bring him back down. It doesn't work, but I try.
The man is a living monument to ineptitude.
He's Ben Maller, and he's talking all night long.
So I've got Vin Diesel, Kangaroo Court, and Tommy Lasorda.
It's the Ben Maller Show. Weeknights at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. FS1.
Looking for the one, what you looking at the one?
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Looking for the one, what you looking at the one?
And here's what you need to know.
Several close games in the NFL right now. At the 2-minute warning, the Browns are losing at home to the Ravens 24-23. They have the ball at midfield. With 2 minutes to go, the Dolphins are winning at home against the Cardinals 27-25. Arizona has the ball at Miami's 28-yard line. The Jets are beating the Patriots 22-17. The Patriots have the ball with 30 seconds to go. They're at the Jets' 5-yard line, and it's 3rd and goal. The Falcons are beating the Buccaneers 31-26. 1 minute to go. The Buccaneers have the ball. They're approaching midfield. The Packers are beating the Jaguars 27-20. 2 minutes to go. The Jaguars have the ball at Green Bay's 14-yard line. The Texans are beating the Colts 23-20 with 3 minutes to go. Texans do have the ball at this one at Indiana's 9-yard line. The Eagles defeated the Bengals 37-17, and the Lions crushed the Titans 52-14. I'm Monty Bolaños.
This is Fox Sports Red Zone Radio. The play.
How about that second effort to get in the end zone?
The hit. Your team. Your game.
We got the pads on that.
It's all broken down right here.
Fox Sports Red Zone Radio is now.
Live from the TireRack.com studios of Fox Sports Radio. Here's Steve Hartman and 6-year NFL veteran Rich Ornberg.
Direct snap to Lamar. He pitches it to Derrick Henry. Henry to the left. Bangs off a tackler. Touchdown, King Henry. And the Ravens are an extra point away from regaining the lead.
All right, that's 98 Rock Ravens Radio Network. They take the lead. We got unbelievable finishes going on right now. Red Zone Radio, broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. TireRack.com, we're going to get you there. Unmatched selection, fast free shipping, free road hazard protection, over 10,000 recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. All right, we're going to have to sort of prioritize right now. Let's start with the Patriots and the Jets. 25 seconds left. 4th and goal for the Patriots, and they are in the end zone. Touchdown Patriots with 25 seconds to go. 4th and goal. They get in on the run, and the Patriots retake the lead. That is unbelievable.
Wow.
Wow. The Patriots, with Jacoby Brissett in the game after Drake May went out with a concussion, have come back and taken the lead. 4th and goal, they ran the ball in, and they have taken the lead with just 25 seconds remaining. And if the Jets do lose this game, well, we talked about it before the game. Now where you go?
Well, I mean, where you go is probably looking into the crystal ball and seeing what the future is going to look like, right? Because Aaron Rodgers, if he doesn't get it done this season, what does that mean for next year at the quarterback position?
Right.
You know, if you, I mean, you've already fired Robert Saleh, so who's next? I mean, could we see potentially Belichick get hired? When does that courting process begin? Because you're already on to an interim. So all of a sudden, everything is going to get evaluated here, because this is a can't lose. I don't want to call it a must win, but it honestly was. I mean, for the Jets, if they lose this game, they've just lost a must win game week 8 of the NFL season, and it's misery right now for New York.
All right, they're actually reviewing the touchdown that the Patriots scored. I thought it was pretty clear, but they are officially reviewing that play. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, who have trailed this entire game against the Dolphins, have a 3rd and 6 at the Miami 16-yard line as they're getting themselves into what would be a game-winning field goal position. So Kyler Murray in this game, 307 yards passing and a couple of scores. So they have put themselves in a position now and to take the lead in this game. So Cardinals trailing the Dolphins 27-25, 14 seconds left, but they are at the Miami 16-yard line. Meanwhile, the Browns trailing the Ravens 24-23, minute and a half to go. They have the ball on the Baltimore 40-yard line, and they have a 3rd and 7. And now we've had Jacksonville just score against the Packers, and they are an extra point away of tying up this game inside 2 minutes ago. It's craziness around the NFL.
Yeah, don't sleep on the Jags. That's what I'm trying to say. I know they're a 2-win football team. I know it's looking pretty desperate, but this team, they're better than their record shows. I honestly believe that. Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback than a lot of people would evaluate him as, and there's a good reason why they spent the money. I'm curious if they're able to pull this one out, and if they are, tying this game 27-27 now with a minute 48 left on the clock. If they get this victory over the Green Bay Packers, and you start to think about what the season could look like for Jayville, I mean, this could be a turnaround point. This could be one of those momentum shifts.
All right, the Patriots touchdown is good, and they got a 2-point conversion, Rich.
Wow.
So the Patriots lead the Jets 25-22. So the Jets have 22 seconds remaining. Meanwhile, we're down to the final second here, and the Cardinals' field goal is good. The Cardinals have defeated the Dolphins 28-27. They literally trailed this entire game until it mattered most, right at the end. 307 yards passing, 2 touchdowns for Kyler Murray. Tua Tagovailoa, 28-38, 234 yards and a score, but it was not enough. And the Cardinals in the mix get themselves to 4-4. You were touting them earlier. Cardinals definitely in the mix right now in the NFC West.
Yeah, no question about it. Not only as a wild card contender, but also just as a flat-out division winner potentially. They are starting to put it all together. Kyler Murray, he's playing like a Pro Bowler. You look around this offense, and McBride, He's really a great talent at tight end in terms of pass catching. They targeted him 11 times. Him and Murray hooked up for 9 receptions. Marvin Harrison, another huge game, over 100 yards, 111 through the air, plus the touchdown. Caught every single pass but one on a 6-reception day. It's looking good in Arizona right now.
All right, the Falcons have defeated Tampa Bay 31-26, 4 touchdown passes in that game for Kirk Cousins. So Atlanta now in sole possession of first place in the NFC South. All right, we got 4 games still. The Colts trailing the Texans 23-20, and we just had a touchdown for the Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
Touchdown for the Cedric Tillman on the receiving. Jameis Winston, what a game he has had.
This really
38-yard touchdown pass for the Cleveland Browns to take the lead over the Ravens. 59 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
If you are a Ravens fan watching, you are sick to your stomach because the very previous play, Kyle Hamilton had a surefire interception and bobbled it and dropped it like 4 different times.
All right, now I'm just keeping an eye on the Jets right now, guys. They had a pass that was complete. Oh, they're calling an incomplete pass. Did Wilson drop that ball?
Yeah.
It looked like he had a reception at near midfield, but he dropped the ball. So the Jets are desperate now, down to their final few seconds. But the Ravens are going for 2 right now to try to increase their lead to 7. And Winston is scrambling throws, and it's incomplete. So the Browns lead 29-24 with a minute to go. That's where they are right now. So the Ravens are going to have to giddy up to avoid a huge upset on the road to Jameis Winston, who has 334 yards passing and 3 touchdowns.
He has been pitch perfect the entire game. Listen, it's not for a lack of talent that Jameis Winston hasn't worked out as a starting quarterback. It's for one thing in particular, his undeniable penchant to throw interceptions.
Game over with the Jets and the Patriots, Rich. The Jets completed a pass, but they had no timeouts. The clock has run out, and the New England Patriots 6-game losing streak is over. They are now tied with the Jets. Both teams at 2-6. Patriots win it.
How many games left to play? 9?
9.
I mean, you have to be nearly perfect for this team to even be a consideration for a wild card spot.
Yeah, they don't look like a team that's going to go on a.
Like, is that something they could do? Like,
I don't know
in the NFL.
Well, remember they gave up a provisional second as a third that could become a second, which was basically more than a lot of people thought they were going to give up.
This is going to be like a Rasheed Wallace situation where he plays a game and then moves on.
I don't think there's any. Yeah,
you should probably look to
someone else might be in the market. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's a mess. And look, they have another year of Aaron Rodgers. So you think about this, it may end up being a similar situation to how the swan song for Aaron Rodgers was in Green Bay, where the Jets, if they continue on this trend of losing, they've already fired their head coach.
Here, Packers, Jaguars. Packers now 1st and goal at the Jacksonville 4-yard line, inside a minute to go. Jags came all the way back to tie this game, but now the Packers can run the clock down for what would be a game-winning field goal. Meanwhile, we're keeping our eye on the Ravens right now and the Browns. The Ravens trailing the Browns 29-24. There's 44 seconds left, and the Ravens are at their own 41-yard line, so they're out left. There's 35 seconds, and what happened? They used their timeout, and they're at the Cleveland 38-yard line with 35 seconds to go. It's weird because they thought the clock should have stopped because it was a sideline play, but the ball came down in bounds, and so the Ravens had to use their last timeout.
And he's been so much of their offense today. 22 of 33 passing, 275 and 2 touchdowns through the air, plus the 46 rushing yards as well. It really all over us.
All right, they won over the middle with no timeouts, which means the clock is running and it's down to 20 seconds. Spiked the ball with 21 seconds down to the 20.